What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That is your girl Adara. That is not Trenda. And I am Sharif. Shout out to Ram. And yeah, we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have the OGs, Darwin and Chase Bands, Scott H. Let's go as well, sir. I got a whole bunch of small cap gappers to get to. Cairo, Aaron, and Joanna Brewster and Cesar Sandoval joining us as well. Odyssey Flights and Fiddlebeck, good morning to Cass, M, and Julia C. Ronaldo, good morning to you as well. The one, he is the one, Sebastian, Anurag, One Short, Derek Thompson, Nate Eddie R, and Scott Edwards. The OG Nimit, what's going on, my man? Gonzalo G, Stock Up, Michelle Meir, Don Cotton, and PC Hoon. We got Gorb as well as Daryl Finch, Donkey Trader. That's an interesting name. Domingo Vasquez, what's up, my man? You called it yesterday. Don't forget about what I thought, what you said about the soccer game. Shout out to my man Adam DeLuce as well. Amelie, Broadest, Wolf, Laura White, and Live Life. I wanted to end with that one because I like that one. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are you this fine morning?
Got a bit of a gnarly headache, but we're going to soldier through. Ram was nice enough to give me some Aleve, and so hopefully we'll feel a little bit better. Yeah. Anything you're looking at? You're on live today.
I am live today. So basically yesterday I went in because I knew my ID had expired, so I assumed I wasn't going to be able to trade live. And then today I accidentally logged into live and it worked, so I'm live again.
Fantastic.
So yeah, shout out to thank you. I am in the money a few pennies here in this AMD short. This is a really small position. I wanted that 180 break. I saw we broke 180. I got involved. This will be scalp based, so if I see, or tape based, so if I see any change in the tide, as Sharif will say, I will be getting out. But also, I wanted to make a pun about leave, but I won't because this is a transition today. I'm not punning for the first hour of the midday. I'm also not allowed to say please dispunge for the first hour of the midday, as per a super chat from yesterday. So I'm really excited for this. No, I'm not. I'm terrified. I literally was like up at night, like, how am I going to do this? But no, I love challenges. They make me work even harder. So I will probably be more subdued because I find when I get really excited about the markets, the puns come out. So we're going to be a little bit calmer. We're going to be a little bit more chilled. I was going to be like, oh, I didn't get out of this AMD soon. AMD pops back down. That is fine by me. Getting out of this. Whoop, there it is on AMD. Please just punch. Oh, I already said it. I can't get excited. I already failed this challenge. Oh,
so then we don't get any pizza and drinks tomorrow?
I guess not. I can't be excited about the market. Apparently, this is upsetting. I'm gonna keep trying it though. Like that was once, but yeah. Okay, could people stop adding words I can't say? Pardon? 5 strikes.
Ram
I don't think that was the rule.
5. I don't know if that was the rule, but I'm looking to be lenient. I don't know. Who was the individual in the chat that...
It was Terra Engineering. I'm not going to say anymore. And guys, I know you guys are listing other phrases I say a lot. That was not part of the bet. I can't completely change who I am.
All right.
But we'll do it again.
Well, I know that you can. It's just like I think you were excited about that AMD short. But here's a look. All right, let's get to the Mag 7 on the day. Obviously, a lot of weakness coming in to the market today. It was more of a sell the news event on CPI. CPI coming a little bit lower than expectations, but you wouldn't know it by looking at these here, Mag 7 in the futures top right-hand corner of your screen. Tesla was faring the best until, that big boy Huadunk that came in there at 5 to the hour dropped down from 268 in a quick, how do you do? It dropped $8. Really, really quickly, $7.50 because we got into that 268. We did bottom out there at 260.50, so $7.50 awfully quick. Now Tesla in negative territory, trying to weasel its way back above 263. That's how it goes green. So we'll keep eyes on all the Mag 7 names, but it has been a short the pop kind of day. You can see that depicted on all the charts. Any retracements into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart on whatever Mag 7 name, saving except for Tesla, has been absolute money. The one that is curling up the most at the moment is the soft one, and it had a bit of a tougher day yesterday, selling off aggressively there. We got to short it now, finding some support at 453.30, looking to weasel its way into that 456 area where the 10 exponential on the 5 is hanging on. If it does, I'm very interested in the short there. We'll keep an eye on these Mag 7 names. But yeah, big move down. We almost touched 21,000 today on the NQ September contract. We got to 20,983 and 3/4. And then Huadunk went the dynamite because we dropped a cool and gnarly 400 plus points, 20,585, low of day now on the September contract for the NASDAQ. So lots of weakness, no question about that. I doubt, I don't doubt, but unlikely in my opinion that we see the winds of change coming to the high side today. But if we do, we'll go long. Otherwise, I'm looking short. Anything you want to add before we start the lesson du jour?
Yeah, so AMD, I wanted to go long AMD. I chose the 180.21 level for reasons and got involved at 21s there on AMD. Ended up getting out at 23s. I took 2 pennies. Basically, what I should have been doing was adding into the trade instead of trying to go full force at that level. It would have worked out. It would have been 60 pennies in the money, but it's all good. Just got to keep going, keep trying, and now realize, Tara, maybe you should have added in instead of trying to go full force. Still took my 2 pennies, so that is still profit taken. And I'm not going to use the other phrase I would normally use. And we're going to wait and see what we do here at 181s for A to the M to the D. Terra Engineering, $10 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. You'll need 1 hour of pun-free talk during your 3 hours. Any hour will do. Then we'll start now. We have until 12:08.
Okay.
Thank you, cool. Terra Engineering. I accept your challenge.
Why don't you do it from 12 to 1 so you can pun up for
easier?
an hour? I don't know. I'm just asking.
No, I don't think so, because then I'll get into that mode and I'll have to get out. So I'd rather, I'm already have my brain in this very stifled place, so I'd rather just stay stifled for the time being. But thank you, Terra Engineering, for the super chat and this challenge.
Thank you very much, Terra Engineering, bang, for the $10. All right, let's get right to it, baby. We're talking about Elliot wave theory all week long. We introduced it on Monday. We talked about how to use Fibonacci retracements on the different waves on Tuesday. Yesterday, we talked about how to identify wave 1, the initiator of the waves. Today, we'll talk about how to ID and trade wave 3, the biggest and the baddest of the 5 waves and the biggest of the 3 impulse waves. So let's get right to it. In Elliot wave theory, all eyes are on wave 3. This is the star of the show, the powerhouse that delivers the most significant price movements within a trend. Let's delve into the characteristics of wave 3 and explore how to identify it for potential trading opportunities. Let's get right to it. So the heart of the trend, wave 3, like I mentioned, the longest, the strongest of the impulse waves of wave 1, 3, and 5. Those are the impulse waves. It propels the price in the direction of the trend, often extending the gains of the wave 1 by a significant margin. Here's why it's crucial. Number 1, extended price movement. Wave 3 offers the greatest potential for profit due to its extended length and powerful momentum, meaning that if you're a trend trader, you are in love with wave 3. You have to be, either to the high side or the downside. Doesn't matter, longs or shorts, both can profit off wave 3. And it's also important because it confirms the trend. A strong wave 3 following a wave 1 and a corrective wave 2 provides strong confirmation of the trend direction. And it provides you with trading opportunities as well. It's the biggest, it's the baddest of the waves. How could it not provide you with trading opportunities? But identifying wave 3 can certainly help traders position themselves to capitalize on the trend's continuation. Remember, this is a continuation play because wave 1 started the trend. So here's the look. This is kind of how it may look IRL. You know, there's so many variants of these that you just kind of have to get used to them by practicing over and over and over and identifying waves. But typically what you want to see is wave 1 starting at an area of support or basically a reversal. So if the trend was down and then, you know, it flipped up all of a sudden on news catalyst, that could be a hint that it's wave 1. Also, if the trend was down, but then it consolidates at a key area of support, then you get that initiation wave, that could also be wave 1. So here's a look. This wave 1 starts from here and crests over here. Wave 2 starts from there and troughs over here. Then you can see the biggest and the baddest of the waves. Wave 3 starts from the trough of wave 2 and then ends at the crest where it says 3 there. So that's just kind of how it could look in the wild, so to speak. So identifying wave 3. How do we do that? While not always perfect, right? Some key characteristics can help you spot this elusive third wave. The length. That's basically the most notable of the characteristics. Wave 3 is typically the longest of the 3 impulse waves, waves 1, 3, and 5. However, length alone is not a definitive indicator. You also need to look for strength. Expect to see strong price movement and increased trading volume during wave 3 compared to the preceding waves, waves 1 and 2. And Fibonacci's feature here as well. Wave 3, in theory, can extend wave 1 by about 1.6 times. So you can kind of try to gauge, is this a wave 3? Where to expect wave 3 to possibly top out and crest out? Well, you can project it north by knowing how long wave 1 is and then projecting that 1.6 times higher. Again, never a guarantee. These are just general guidelines. They may or may not work, but it's good to know them. And here's the look for this kind of initiation. There you go. Wave 1 starts over here, crests over here. Then you have wave 2 initiating. And then look at the big boy, wave 3. Basically, you know, it's obviously the longest of the bunch. But here's the kicker. So sometimes these corrective waves, which are waves 2 and waves 4, they can be of varying lengths. You'll see wave 2 here lasted a period of days, whereas, you know, wave 4, it only lasted a couple of days. It was a major correction, you can see that, but it didn't last all that long. So sometimes spotting these can be a little bit tricky. But beyond the basics, guys, there are oftentimes where there are overlapping waves. There's no requirement for the waves to be separated by time or price. Sometimes they can overlap. So sometimes wave 3 can overlap slightly with the end of wave 1. And usually there's a correction of wave 2 in there, or the beginning of wave 4. So there could be overlaps between wave 3 and some of the other waves just owing to how strong and long it is. Don't get discouraged by these minor overlaps. Focus on the overall trend and wave structure. And corrective wave 4, important here as well in gauging wave 3. A healthy wave 4 typically retraces about 23.5% to about 38.2% of wave 3. So you can kind of gauge where wave 4 could be, wave 4 could bottom out or trough out based upon how big wave 3 was. You can kind of have that range of 23.6 to about 38.2. This retracement provides support before the final push of wave 5. And this is important as well. So I wanted to mention this. So sometimes the initiation of wave 3 is just so strong that there is a notable and a noticed gap between the end of wave 2 and the initiation of wave 3. Even better so if the crest of wave 1 is a key area of technical resistance. So if you basically troughed out at an area of support, moved up on wave 1, but wave 1 ends up cresting out at an area of resistance, if you retrace into wave 2, then gap above that initial area of resistance by wave 1, all the more bullish than or bearish, doesn't matter, for wave 3, and it's a better confirmatory indicator. So always look for these gaps that could possibly happen here on the initiation of wave 3, especially if the crest of wave 1 was a key area of technical resistance. So just keep that in mind. And tips for trading wave 3, confirmation is key. Isn't that always the case, right? Don't rush into trades based solely on wave 3. Look for confirmation from other technical indicators and a healthy retracement in wave 4 for better risk management. But there's also your entry and exit strategies. Develop entry and exit strategies based on your risk tolerance and trading style. Consider using stop loss orders in order to manage risk. And here is a nice little infographic that I found online about how to possibly trade wave 3. You can screenshot this if you want. Basically, it's showing you where you can possibly get in, right? 50% retracement of wave 1. You get in with a stop loss. I would put to the low of wave 1 or the initiation. In any event, you can screenshot this, use it however you want. Just make sure whatever trading style you do adopt works with your risk management depending on your account size, your experience, etc. And just remember, guys, the market doesn't always follow Elliott waves. perfectly. However, understanding wave 3, the biggest of the waves, you can potentially identify the significant trend extensions and make better informed trading decisions, Adira.
Yeah, and it's like you always want to make sure too, using other factors as well. You want to make sure you have all that, the confluence with not just the wave. So I think that's really key. Thank you so much again to Sharif for putting together these lessons and really breaking things down by each individual Elliot wave as well. AMD, I am not going to lie, I think this challenge did weirdly impact my mental, but now I will not let it do so anymore. This is a beautiful short setup. I have no reason to not be taking this short, but I saw we went on the book. We were getting to a level. I was like, oh, let's try to take it to the upside. The second I got in this, I saw stuff I didn't like. I should have gotten out. I didn't trust myself either because this long I got out of way too early, right? So I was like, oh, it'll work out. I end up getting out. I don't get out nearly quickly enough, as quickly as I want to, and then it ends up bouncing right back up. But it's life. It happens. You got to keep going, keep getting ready over here, and keep pushing. Ticker tantrum saying nasty fall LCFY. Let's take a look at LCFY here. This is Locify, which, as Neil pointed out, it's interesting to have an Australian name running like this because we've had names from China. Neil said Singapore as well. We've got Australia entering the mix over here. So we do have this gorgeous VWAP bounce. Look at this little bottoming tail candle. Then we bounce here off that 90 EMA, which is a level I do really enjoy. Then we get a pretty nasty topping tail candle. But I think pushbacks are still allowed. Still have a pushback. Look at this $8 level. It's not perfect. It's closer to like 8. Okay, it's closer to this 816 level, and we are continuing to make these higher lows here, right? So Locify did fall. I definitely agree with the nasty fall mentioned here by Ticker Tantrum, especially because the tap here is 801. So this would maybe be a lower low because I think we were initially holding that 816, but we'll have to see what we do here in LC. Why the point I'm trying to make is I don't think all hope is lost. I think if we continue to make these higher highs and higher lows, could be a good look, but definitely be aware of that failure to break above that 1125 level. Let's take a look at run for Todd S.
Yeah, solar is all really strong. Yeah, I was about to mention that.
Yeah, Enphase was a good look as well. Enphase actually a specific catalyst.
Interest rates, right?
That is true, because Enphase had a catalyst. Enphase is a specific thing with regards to tax credits, but all these other ones are moving purely on. They're gonna be coming fast and furious today.
I'm good with them. I don't care. I'm just counting them out.
You like the pushbacks. I appreciate it. But look at this. Yeah, this is a gorgeous bounce here. 1477. We get there, bounce, come back up, bounce, come back up. And you might think we'd have a flat bottom break, and run says no. And it bounces even further. We are actually making another higher high here, looks like on the day. So this is not at all a bad look, Todd. Thank you for pointing this out. Gaurav mentioning Rivian here. Rivian at a high of day, holding strong today with higher volume than yesterday. Thank you, Gaurav, for continuing to mention Rivian, because it's one I don't think we give enough credit to. We had Tesla, which is the EV king of that space, and we also have this Rivian, though, as well, trying to prove Elon Musk wrong, who said, if you're not sleeping in your factory, what are you doing?
Yeah, true, right?
Yeah, so I like an underdog story. Rivian is an underdog story. Its cars look like the cars from the movie Cars, and I will stop saying cars so many times. But this is a nice bounce here, trying to break above this top that we made at 1680, pushing higher. Good look for RIVN. I saw Sharif was just in this name, but this Tesla is an interesting look here. I was eyeing a potential rejection here of that 263.30. If we reject 90 EMA, that's not going to be a bad look either. I have not been giving that 90 EMA the credence it deserves because I really should have taken that short earlier instead of trying to go long here. But I think Tesla's an interesting look right now, though my eyes are still on AMD with this potential bounce here. On the book, I like 181.70 as a bounce area. On the chart, it looks like it might be 181.80s, so we'll have to wait and see here. Either way, I do have eyes on AMD, but it will purely be as a scalp play because this thing has been moving at a velocity that is harder for longer moves.
I just fat-fingered on Tesla. I wanted the 264 short because of this. We ended up taking nice, like 25 pennies there, but I took out the entire thing, Ram. I didn't actually mean to take out the entire thing there. The whole point of this 264 short was to base it off this area of previous support looking for resistance, so that was a mistake, but I can still get back in here. I just need to see what I want to see, which is weakness. A little bit. So Tesla, the bid is still quite aggressive at these levels. So I'd like to get back in here, but I need to see what it does. I actually had my, Good thing I remember to clean up my stop. I had my stop above the $0.25 there, so I want to see if it breaches the $0.25. If it does, then I'll flip long on Tesla. But I'm still looking short on the Cybertruck at the moment. I just want to see what the dance with no pants at 264 ends up resulting in. Because right now, it's a little zig, it's a little zag. We're definitely getting some selling at the whole dollar. It's likely an iceberg. I don't see enough size to keep it down at these levels here, especially with the umpteen amount of shares coming in on the tape. You'll notice also that we got that liquidity algo working on TSLA vis-a-vis these one share orders that coming in on the dark pools. You can see that depicted there with 1, and then beside it is D. D stands for dark pool as well. So, you know, a lot of different theories about what this algo does, whether it's detecting liquidity or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm not that smart. But anyway, it's on it today. It's been on Apple on some days. And Tesla definitely in vogue these days. No question about it. Tesla as a monster was up like, what do we say, like 70% since the middle of June or what? Something like that, right?
Yeah, it's been wild.
Yeah, so Tesla's been a monster lately, so and I anticipate obviously a lot of liquidity in this name, so we'll keep an eye on that. Pearl, $1 super chat, no comment or anything like that, but we'll take it, Pearl. I like your name. Yeah, absolutely. Keeping an eye on Tesla. All right. So let me bring in the small cap gappers over here because we didn't talk about it. I love how Adara was commenting on LCFY because that's my first small cap gapper du jour. And it is holding up. I don't know why my screen is freezing. Hello, computer. Hello. No, okay, it's freezing on me. So LCFY freezing, we'll get back to that in a second. But how about this one, LTNH, another holdover from yesterday. This monster from the closing print of Tuesday to the high of yesterday. This thing is up 51.5%. Second day play on this one, and it absolutely held yesterday's consolidation top there at 107.5. We didn't print anything below that right now. Like again, this is spready and expensive, but you know it has been very directional in its movement. So possibly here something off the 10 exponential on the 5 at 118.50. Keeping an eye on that. Hello, bro. What's going on over here? There we go. We've woken it up again. We just had to change the time frame. So here is LCFY, and the reason why I like LCFY at this $8 level, because that's where VWAP is. It's a whole dollar level as well. Now, I would have liked a little bit more price action resistance at $8. It seems like we took $8 pretty quick there without any real, you know, anything standing in our way. So if it wasn't really a resistance level, should I really be using it as a key area of support? The only thing really that has me looking here is the volume weighted average price because I base my breakout trades for these small cap gappers on where the stock is trading relative to the volume weighted average price. So LCFY, another good look. KZIA, Adara brought that to you guys on the small cap recap. It keeps on pamping. So this one was 20 pennies yesterday. Now it got to $1.58. It's trying to stay above $1 right now. It just broke down below the volume weighted average price at around $1.18. Now that $1.18 and VWAP were both interesting levels. Look at these pre-market area crests over here at $1.20, $1.18, and then VWAP ends up being there as well. So I was personally thinking we could get a bump up here at last. This candle at 10.20 comes in and tanks the whole thing. Now we're zigging and zagging. A little bit above VWAP, a little bit below. That ain't my setup on these small cap gappers unless it sets up different, leaving Kazia alone. Let's go on to this one as well. MEI, a gnarly 44% in the clear. This thing is directional to say the least. It did wake up yesterday in the aftermarket. Look at that 4 p.m. volume spike to 100,000 shares per 5-minute candle. Now we're doing that on average. So for whatever reason, somebody was buying this on the close. Maybe they knew something I didn't know because look at the direction this monster got into. Right at 9:15, the volume started coming in around 15 to 9 or 9:15, excuse me, and then it really continued subsequent to the bell, and now we're printing days highs just off that 13 3/4. Certainly, last but not least, we have PAC-B. Who remembers this from the financial crisis, from the banking, small bank, whatever? What do they call that thing? The small banking
Silicon Valley?
Yeah, but what was like the whole... Yeah, anyway, the regional banking crisis. That's it, the regional banking crisis. I don't know why this moved. I don't even really want to look at the blotter. It doesn't really matter to me, but this one was at $1.30. It's $1.56. Great looking bull flag. Trying to stay above the volume weighted average price at $1.50. You know, it's not giving you much in the way of notional, but the chart pattern looks really good. And obviously, I got to keep QuantumScape on there because it had a catalyst. This is a legitimate company. Or, you know, so I believe. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, let me show you the chart on this because I remember this from the pandemic. Yeah, there you go. So this got to about $140, and then, you know, a hit piece came out. I forget who it was, Citron, the Bear Cave, whoever, came out with a hit piece on them, and then they absolutely tanked. They're being sued by their shareholders for, you know, inflating or exaggerating the nature of the technology. You can see the chart does reflect that kind of thesis. But hey, man, they've got a deal with Volkswagen. Not a small deal, and they're changing that joint venture into a licensing agreement now. Let's see if that plays out, because they need to be able to scale this. It's one thing to do it in the science lab as a science experiment. It's another thing to put it on cars and mass produce it. So QuantumScape, keep your eye out for this one. It may not just be a one-day play. This may be a multi-day runner, kind of like LNTH. There.
There's been a lot of multi-day runners lately. I think while I'm doing this this challenge, I'm going to be taking really small position sizes because I know this sounds really ridiculous. But when you're using like a lot of energy to try to repress or whatever, trying to like focus on not doing things, I think you can't be 100% there mentally. And I think I need to honor that. So I'm taking way less size and I'm only taking trades I really like. Like this Tesla long, this is another case where I keep weirdly forgetting I'm short biased, or that not short biased, but which is, I mean, I still kind of am, but that I'm like more comfortable with shorts, because this is a case where this is another setup I really should have been taking short. We had some stuff I liked in the book, but it's another case where I should have been trusting myself getting out earlier. I am very happy to say I did just get 30 pennies there on, okay, there we go. There we go, Tesla. I am back. Happy to say that. Tesla, I would like to see us come back below the 262, but if Tesla wants to bounce 262 again, that's fine by me. I will get out here. I've noticed too, things seem to be moving like a lot faster. The spread seems to be larger lately on Tesla. I'm not really sure why that is. I don't know if that's more mental or if that's actually physical, but I found it too, like even with this AMD, I had a couple long scalps here based on the book. This first one, it actually did work out here. I was able to get out. This should have worked, but I wasn't able to get filled where I wanted to because of the spread, and I ended up losing out on that. Happy with this TSLA. And we're, yeah, really, really happy with this. I've been hiding the P&L still because I'm trying to focus on the quality of the trades and the fundamentals there. AMD, though, back out with this 180 level. 180 break earlier was nice. I had that initial short there on AMD at that 180 break. So let's see what we do here if we want to test this 180 yet again. I think this 182 rejection area on AMD has been really interesting. We held it as support earlier, fell below, came back, rejected it once again. What else are people looking at here? MMM holding strong in a weak market, says ISRA or ISRA. I'm saying names as tickers now, Sharif.
That's all good. That's all good.
This MMM, this one has been a really good look here, bouncing off VWAP. I think this is nice. We are about 1 million shares here so far, and I do agree with what you're saying here. The volume's not even bad, but 1 million shares. We have earnings for this coming up in a couple weeks. As I was doing the week ahead notes, I saw this one on watch in not this coming week, the week after. On the daily chart, I really like this level here of this 98. Why do I like this level of 98? Well, okay, it's up. It's like kind of this 98 to 99 area, but I like it because we had this rejection here, come lower, pop higher, then we come back, bounce yet again at 98s, bounce one more time at 98s, and would you believe it if I say we bounce another time at 98?
Oh, I believe you.
Because we do. I appreciate that, Sharif. Shout out to teamwork, although apparently not for Trendlet.
No.
No. Trend does the odd man out on this desk apparently, but we're pushing higher here, breaking below that previous area of breaking above that previous area of resistance at 103. So let's see if we can break above this 105 and then this 106. 3 M's I do not mind at all on an intraday or a daily chart. So thank you for bringing this one to our attention, Isra. It's currently at highs of days. People are asking what happened to the market. Honestly, it looks like we just had a lot of pullback in tech because when I did the sector watch, all these other sectors are actually not a bad look
they're not.
at all.
They're not.
It's just tech is a little bit weaker right now. That's that would be my take on that.
That's good.
But yeah, what are you seeing?
I want to show the solar watch list over here, guys. Every single name that I have in my solar watch list there is in Greensville. You have like the likes of Nova, Sunrun, even CSIQ, which I was talking smack about yesterday. Enphase, Adair says, has a headline. Even Solar Edge, which has been getting killed lately, is up 0.88. I submit to you guys that this is an interest rate story. The startup costs for solar are still prohibitive, higher than some others, and people don't like using their own money for startup costs, thereby they finance. And if the cost of capital is higher, they are less likely to do so. If the cost of capital is projected to go down, I think solar is an interest rate story through and through. I think you're going to see them go up as we start pricing in possible cuts. So I've got my eye on solar. And like now, some of them, they're not really day trading names. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Let's look at the volume on some of them. So, for example, Enphase, decent. I mean, 3 3/3. Solar Edge, 3.4 million shares done a day for solar, which has been getting by far the most love from the solar investors because it's making its solar panels in the States, not in China, and therefore won't be subject to 100% tariffs. That's also done 1.25 million. The most, though, has been Sunrun, 10.2 million shares. Big boy move, 8 3/4. Not to be outdone by Nova. Nova's 10.5%, but 4.25 million shares there. And what's SPWR again? I forget. SunPower. That one's done almost 4 million shares. It's up 4 2/3. So lots of strength in solar. You'll see that in EV charging as well. You'll also see it in weed. Weed is also strong on the day. We know that it had a catalyst the other day from, well, it was a negative catalyst actually, so I don't even understand why it's up, but whatever. Upstart and Affirm, both up. I would submit to you, those are interest rate stories as well. Upstart's up big, 7 3/4, 8% here. Upstart's moving as I talk about it. It's done decent volume, 4 2/3 million shares on the day. You'll also see strength in crypto. You'll also see strength in EVs. So the EVs are up today. Where are my EV watch list? Oh, there. EVs, only First Solar, Fisker is down. It's at 1.5 pennies. Jeez, that's bad. VinFast. Shout out to VinFast, baby. 11 3/4%. Go, VinFast, go. Polestar, 4.5. Plug Power, it's got a headline, by the way, with a hydrolyzer, 95 megawatt hydrolyzer being released the other day as well. So lots of strength. Rivian, I saw... I don't know who was talking about it, whether it was Neil, I think, in the chat earlier, talking about Rivian, saying a good look there. Double top at 17 3/4. So lots of other possible plays today, not just a Mag 7. Looks like there is green, but just not in those names. So lots of, for the bulls, that is. Lots of other things to take long, but I got to tell you, I'm looking at the Mag 7 and I'm looking short. And here comes Tesla into the low of day again, 2060.50. Let's watch what it does over here. That was a gnarly retracement that gave you $4, well, $3.50 up that 260.50 bounce, retraces to 264. And this is where I fat fingered, and I can't believe I still don't have a piece. I'm so angry with myself there. But TSLA on the way down into lows, but so are all the Mag 7 names. Nobody is excluded from being at low days right now, Adair.
Yeah, it's pretty weak. One name, though, that is strong that I have an eye on is IWM. I mentioned this on the small cap recap. IWM was a really good look there. The Russell 2000, very strong. So I initially, because what happened last time I saw something like this, I went long on the break above the 90 MA. Ended up being a good look. I was seeing some stuff on the book to confirm that. Then we couldn't get to 40s. I was trying to get out, wasn't able to get out where I wanted to. All good there, but then I switched to the short because basically my whole plan with this, I was willing to go in either direction. Now, as Neil said on one of his lessons of the day, I believe last week, and I want to shout those out because they are very important, Neil was saying that you always want to make sure you have a good case if you switch. Now, for me, the reason I decided to switch is because this was one that it was kind of an if-then or either-or. I was... If we were above the 90 MA, if we could make that push, I thought we could take this long into this 210 70s. If we could stay below the 90 MA, I thought this could be a little bit of an exhaustion here at this 210 70s, given that top, and we could try lower. So I'm happy with this right now. I do not love the bounce at 210 15s. It is a little bit peculiar. But we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And also, if there's any tickers you're keeping an eye on, make sure to vote.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
in the chat right now, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. NVDA, TSLA, IWM, SPY, GME, Tesla. How was your Cybertruck going there? I thought you were.
No,
oh, you're not in it.
I didn't say anything about being in Cybertruck.
I thought you said.
Well, I said I fat fingered like 20 times.
Oh, my
So it's
yeah,
all good. So 264, we were short. We're still waiting on that. There goes the break of 260 all the way down to 95.50. I was actually calling me crazy, but I was thinking about possibly taking a quick scalp off 260.50. Good thing I didn't. All sorts of weakness and everything in the Mag 7 world right now. I personally don't like it because I don't see my Apple gains go away, but that's just the nature of the beast. You can't expect things to go up in a straight line. Now it's just about how I get in on the shorts. I'm waiting for 10-period exponential retracement on one of them, and nothing is coming in on the 5. And so I'm not able to get in on anything right now. Everything is super weak. Everything is at lows, and yeah, this is just not my trading style. I'm not going to punch in random areas. I need a pullback, a healthy pullback into a key area of technical resistance to get in, and you're not getting it on any of them. They're all well extended below the 10 exponential, which is the shortest of the moving averages that I use. So I don't have a trade short, sadly. I just won't punch in randomly. I need to get it off a key level. And right now, so I got to pack my patience with these names until they retrace into a key level. Let's look at some of the small cap gappers that we've earmarked here. Possibly people saying Longeveron, the winds of change may be coming on LGVN. Really? All right. Well, it just went green. It did. It got up into that 495 area. Retraced, though, from what I can see. Let me just actually load that up because it's not updating for me here. LGVN. There we go. Put that bad boy up there. Yeah, so it's retraced down back into 460, did move into that 494, tried to break through 5. But look what we did yesterday in the aftermarket. We know we had a resistance level at 5 in the aftermarket yesterday. We also used 5 as a level of support before we quadruped there at 10:30 yesterday. $5 was the level of support. We break down. We find support at 415 or 4.25, depending on if you're looking at closing prints or wicks. And then we create a bit of a range from 4.25 to about 5 to the top side. That stays in effect for the entirety of the aftermarket. In fact, we break down into 4. Then 4 a.m. comes along, we hold 4 generally, and now we're trying to bounce. We're rejecting off that $5 area. So Longeveron, I would submit to you guys, is locked in a bit of a range with $5 to the high side here. It is bouncing right now off the closing print from yesterday at 55s, $4.55. It is bouncing a bit. I do want to see if it holds this level, or is this a quick Christmas tree retracement where we breach the closing print, come up to that resistance level at 5, and then come back down. So LGVN, shout out to Scott H, bringing this one to my attention. We're obviously still well off some of the highs from yesterday at 550. There is a range there as well. Tesla. What? Just let me load it up. Let me load. Tesla just absolutely tanked. Look at this move here down to 255 on the Cybertruck. Unreal drop. I'm looking. Unlikely anything here. Tesla price spike down. What do you got?
An article, this came out a while ago, but sometimes things circulate later. There was this morning, we got an article in the Washington Post entitled, Tesla sells self-driving cars. Is it a fraud?
Is that editorial?
They're looking at investigations into it, so it was based on investigations.
Sounds good.
So I would say it's less of an but it was old, so I don't know. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. The TSLA. Sorry, let me take.
No worries. So yeah, there we go. I mean, we're printing low a day right now, Adair. Here comes 250-270. The bottom just dropped off Tesla. So let's zoom out. Let's find out where the bleeding could stop. There is some interest over here at 252, kind of a random level. I think we probably see 250 given the vigor of that drop, and there is support at that 250 level from the 9th where we like quadruple bottomed off that level.
Oh, right. Darwin, but apparently they're delaying the robo-taxi.
I'm not surprised. There we go. So I don't have that yet on my blotter. Thank you, Darwin, for putting that in the chat.
They delayed the robo-taxi.
What's going on? Yeah, they delayed the robo-taxi, Ram. That's what Darwin is saying. I still don't have... Oh, yeah. Thank you, Ram. Just in case, because we were both talking, Darwin putting in the chat that the robo-taxi widely expected to be kind of announced next month. And, you know, it's basically allowing or forcing a lot of other competitors to front run them, because we saw a couple of other individuals drop their robo-taxi a few days ago. I'm just looking at Tesla here. We should probably keep it on the chart, Ram, because this is on the way down further. Here comes 251, and the bottom is dropping off aggressively. Doesn't seem to be any retracement here. There it is. Shout out to Darwin, getting it right again. Tesla plans to delay robo-taxi unveiling to October. From August, wants more prototypes before robo-taxi event, sources say, being reported by the trustworthy Bloomberg. And yeah, you can take that as you'd like, but we're keeping an eye on that 250 and a quarter incoming here. Here comes 250. Do we get at least a bounce off 250? Not yet. Wow, 249.32. This thing is absolutely tanking. Ain't no bottom here, Dara. This thing is going to the downside.
Yeah, this thing's going crazy. I'm trying to scalp a short here, and I would have had one, but I had the amount wrong, so it wouldn't fill me. It's all good there. I really want this short on Tesla. This is the type of stuff I love doing, just these trading this stuff off news with this volatility. We're kind of bouncing a little bit on 249s, but if we break below 249s, that's a level I would be okay with getting in here. We're bouncing off 249, so let's see. Looks like we are recovering just as quickly as we sold off. If you remember the last time we had this really crazy Tesla sell-off was when we had that news with the, words.
Do you want me to take over?
No, it's okay. I'm just trying to think of the time. Oh yeah, it was in April. It was when Reuters said that Tesla was going to be delaying. It was some kind of delay. Oh yeah, the cheaper vehicles. That's what happened.
The Model 2.
Yes, Model 2. Mm-hmm. And then Elon said Reuters was lying, and then it came right back up. So you want to be really cognizant with these things, these Tesla stories, because Elon Musk will go on Twitter and things will change. Sorry for the pause there, guys. I was trying to collect my thoughts.
I just want to guys, Tesla is dropping because the robo-taxi, widely expected to be unveiled next month, is being delayed till October. Picky Eater just asking me in the chat. We have to keep in mind that a lot of people are joining us, coming in and coming out. You know, they get up, they do whatever they need to do, so they don't always hear what we have to say. So the drop in Tesla, 5 1/4, 5 1/3 now to the downside as a result of the delay of the robo-taxi. As soon as we get more information, obviously we'll provide that to you, but just keep a lookout here on the Cybertruck. A lot of weakness. It's now retracing above 250. So the trade is in here. Bottoming tail candle. Does it hold? Or do we just like retrace and then short the pop kind of setup where we come back down? Right now, 246.12 a day is a low day. Retracing above 250 though.
Yeah, I'm watching this 250 breakdown, because if that 250 breakdown happens, I would like some smoke on that. I would like to get involved for sure. This is just such a crazy move down here on Tesla. And the thing is, too, we're actually getting escalating volume as well. Like that first candle, we have since eclipsed in volume the second candle. So it's basically, it looks like sellers are still in the water. We have a super chat from Kyle Burdett to that.
I just messaged him. I'm like, where are you?
Kyle
this
Burdett,
is your market.
Big Kyle there. $4.99 super chat. The sweet Snowball's blood. Can I get a quadunk? Quadunk. I'll let you do yours.
Quadunk, I'll give Big Kyle his quadunk any day of the week. I just didn't see in the chat, Big Kyle, and I know how much you love these type of markets. I just want to see where you were. Shout out to you. Thank you for joining us. Almog, sir, have you made a lesson already on how did you arrange your main scanner through those sections and such? So, Almog, I'll absolutely give you the layout that I use. It's really, really simple. Whether you're able to execute it on your own platform or not, given the whatever options you have, I didn't make a lesson in it. Maybe we should. Maybe we should do an entire week on that. But
I think we did a week on that.
Layouts?
On scanners, yeah, and how you get news.
Yeah.
So you did a whole day where you set it all up.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, I'll just show you real quick over here. Here's my scanner, and this is what I do. This is a scanner. You can have any parameters for the scanner you want. This over here is my news blotter. So if I click on something, it'll update the news on it. This is the Fundamentals Explorer. This will give me all the fundamental details on the company. That's obviously a chart. So that's one window. That goes on my top screen. On my right top screen is my watch list, the news blotter, a chart, and the the Fundamentals Explorer right there. So I have lots of different names on my watch list. I don't mind providing that to you guys, but just keep that in mind that this is you know, it's just something that I set up informally. And then on the side bottom screen, I have the 8 charts, and then you can see tabs down there for the different sectors for the chart. So I have my daily movers, so the small cap gappers go over here, then the Mag 7 and the Future go over here. Then I have the indexes, the semis, Chinese ADRs, airlines, etc. So I have different charts, and I just keep those on the side. So I hope that helps. You know, that's the setup I've had for a long time. All right, back to trading now, because Tesla, nice V-shaped retracement right back above 250, still below the previous 5-minute candle. The top of the previous 5-minute candle is 254.75. We're still well below that as we dip down. This seems like a short the pop kind of situation here on TSLA. I'm going to get short at this level. It's not letting me in. All right, we're going to get short. Where are we short? 54s. There we go. So we get 75 pennies just like that on Tesla. So we'll cover that one super quick. Short the pop kind of situation here on Tesla. Lots of weakness, and the volume. We're almost at 100 million shares already on Tesla. So, you know, NVIDIA's done 187, Adara, but definitely the volume picking up bigly here on the Cybertruck.
Yeah, I went long a pop. Now I'm trying to short the pop. This was not successful, this trade, unfortunately. Oh my gosh, Kate was not able to manage this how I wanted to. So that's really unfortunate. Not super happy with myself on that. Should have just stuck with my long trade. This thing is moving way too aggressively. Kate got out there, just making sure I'm all good. Yeah, we didn't really lose much on that, but yeah, the long, the pop, that worked out for me. Took about 50 pennies in that, then lost a lot more in the attempt to short. So I definitely need to be a lot faster with this, a lot more cognizant of things like that. Also, Scarjo Rapid, thank you so much for letting us know here. Lyft and Uber popping on Robotaxi News. Let's take a look at the LYFT, see how this goes. Yeah, okay, this is a good look. Get that volume pop here. Gorgeous volume pop. I want to shout out your Tesla trade.
Thank you.
That is a really good look there.
I appreciate you.
On Tesla.
It was a quick scalp.
That's all, yeah, right? It's a great, and the timing on that is so important, because I tried to take the short scalp, like seconds later, just wasn't effective. So
isn't that insane?
It's the timing is crazy.
Insane?
Yeah, like, because it's interesting. It's all about timing, because I had a successful long pop scalp and not an effective short one. Sharif killed it on the short. So it's really about what you see and how quick you are to act on it.
So true. It's so true.
I just want to really show that out.
I appreciate you, Adara. Thank you
awesome.
for always like.
But yeah, Lyft popping up. Yeah, I mean, we're teamwork. Popping up here on LYFT. Lyft also was strong this morning too, as you can see this volume pop. I never found a story on this. That's a 12% short float though. But Uber, let's see how Uber is looking. Okay, this is a good look here on Uber, bouncing off this VWAP as well. Uber to me is a little, I mean, the charts look kind of similar. I was gonna say which one's more interesting, but I do like this Uber look here.
Okay, I'm ready.
Both of them popping wildly. I think if we bounce off 70s, 60s, which is where we had that kind of VWAP bounce earlier, that could certainly be an interesting look here. Patrick in the chat saying brutal. I think that is definitely a thing I agree with. Let's take a look at AMD. Here, yeah, Darwin, yeah, we did have the Robotaxi. Yeah, I forgot to mention that as well. But yeah, so it's the Robotaxi news pushing up Uber and Lyft. But we did have that strength in Lyft earlier today for reasons we do not know. AMD says Krayshawn Morrison. I would love to look at AMD for you. AMD breaking below this 179.50 area. Definitely should have had some eyes on that. Pushing lower here, but it looks like we're maybe trying to make a base here at 178.40. I will say for AMD, Kratel, this one has been really hard with the movements. It'll give you a lot of fake outs before that move. So I would say with AMD, definitely want to be a little bit more cautious about a little bit wild and woolly action happening over here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Tired of being late to the trade, always playing catch up in the market, missing out on those big moves because you're too slow to the news? Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else, pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving, and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? Visit benzingapro.com/pro and get your free 14-day trial today. And Adara, I mean, it wouldn't be a Benzinga ad read unless I
it would not.
threw you in there. And this is kind of what it looks like, guys. This is obviously logged out, but these are all the different options you'll get. I don't have the Pro account on this computer, but this is exactly what it'll look like here. And you can create multiple tabs, so you can have like multiple ones of these things over here. You can see, keep creating all these. So great platform. I've been involved with them one way or another, basically since I started trading in 2020. So yeah, nothing bad to say about them, only good things. So shout out to them. All right, let's get back into trading because I was complaining earlier that I couldn't get anything off a key area of resistance on these Mag 7 names. Well, that now has changed. Whether or not we reject off the 10 exponential on the 5 on some of these names, an entirely different story. But you can see the amount of confluence between the chart patterns on these Mag 7s. It feels like 2021 all over again, where these 7 would move in tandem. That obviously has changed over the last couple of years, but there you go. So they're all coming into the 10 exponential on the 5, and each time they did that on prior occasions on the day, they did reject. So I want to see if we do get these rejections now. Now, Goggles already rejecting off the 10 exponential, as you can see there, coming into that 162.40 and already dropping 40 pennies. Same thing with the soft one. The soft one came into the $0.50. It already dropped 50 pennies. Likewise with the Zon. The Zon got into 194.88. It's down 30 pennies. The dead one, though, it hasn't started retracing. And by the dead one, I'm joking. I'm calling it, that's what I call Apple. And it's up into that 226.88, finally putting a little bit of a red candle here on AAPL. I do want the smoke on these shorts, so we're going to have to go ahead and set up over here. Adair, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, so IWM, I am back in. I know this name and I have had a little bit of tug of war. I was long, and then I got out, and then I was short, and then it pushed up. But then sometimes you need to be in those trades to see how this moves. We are now seeing something that is, shout out to Obi, distinctly different here on the tape. Initially, we were bouncing off a little bit, that 210, 14, 13 area. Once we stopped bouncing off that is clearly, as you can see here, where I got short. Took a smaller position because we got not too chopped up in Tesla, but a little bit chopped up in Tesla. So I'm planning on adding to this position because I do want to be able to add in and out as I go along, as we head to the downside here on the Russell 2000. I want to take some out at 90s because that was a little bit of a support area earlier, as you can see. Plus, we're bouncing a bit on the book. And I want to add, if we get back to 210.01s, I would love to add there. If I start seeing a curl back in this trend where we're pushing back decisively higher and back above that 90 MA, back above 210.20s, which is definitely a bit of a decision point for this one, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing. That'll have to be where I hang up my hat and I leave this trade. Yes, Tesla is tanking Hog Rider. We do have the report that Tesla's delaying the Cybertruck. Ramin sent us a very funny video in our chat saying the reason he's delaying the Cybertruck is because there's videos of Elon partying in a club. So that's what's happening instead. So not Cybertruck, the robo-taxi.
Are we allowed to show this, Ram or no?
Yeah, it was Greg, Elon, Messi. So it wasn't the Cybertruck they're delaying, it was the robo-taxi guys, I apologize. But yeah, they did.
There's your favorite rapper there, Dara. Having one hell of a time with the cornrows all done up and everything. He's having a merry old time there. Shut up that drink. What?
Elon's at the bottom.
Where is
Elon's
that?
the last one. The arrow.
Up.
Arrow.
What am I doing?
On the post, the arrow.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
I see. Oh, that's Erling Haaland, man. That's Erling Haaland from City, bro. Oh my God, that's so funny. Just because he's not in the Euros.
That's where I found Elon.
And there's
Elon
Messi and Suarez. This is obviously a club in Miami. Suarez was in the stands yesterday fighting the Colombian fans. I don't even want to get into that. Everyone knows what happened there. But next one, yes, boss. Yes, boss. Absolutely. Now, who do we got here? Okay.
Elon,
get it, Elon. The best dancer in the club, hands down, Elon Musk. Yes, he's doing his little with the arms, though. Keep your arms down, bro. That's not a good look. Elon in the club. That should be a song, Elon in the club. Anyway, great look there. Thank you, Ram, for that. Some comedic relief. All right, I'm short AAPL at 57s. I'm out at 88s. Let's see if we can get down a little bit. I've got a beak wetter in the low 40s, Adair.
I like that. I'm going to do the animation for that because I love also that the bucket is a chart, which is what's so cool with that animation.
Yeah.
Also, another button I have is the vote button. Get in the chat, exclamation point, join space, $, whatever ticker you like. As Sharif sometimes says, I will also do it as computer keys. So shift 1, exclamation point, join, space bar, that's that bar at the bottom. Shift 4, whatever ticker you like. Maybe it's Meta, maybe it's GME. Someone in the chat was saying, or I think it was Cameron saying, GME actually up on the day, because we were saying, what's strong in the market? GME, GameStop.
Is it?
So this is a good look here. This one, slightly up on the day. This rejection, though, This 25.30 kind of makes me want GME shorts a little bit. I don't want them yet because, like I said, the trading today has been a little bit abysmal, so I want to feel like I can get that confidence back up before I try to short this guy. But yeah, that Elon video, thank you for sending us that, Ramin. And she put in the chat as well, this is why the robotaxi delayed. So that makes sense. I also did think that August 8th was a little bit ambitious. And I also found that the timing of it was weird too, Sharif, because the day he announced it, that was the day we had that last big quad doing for Tesla. So it seemed like he was trying to compensate a little
100%.
bit. That was my
And he's done that in the past. Let's be honest about it. Remember when Reuters came out and said he was delaying the Model 2? Yeah. What did he do literally 2 days later? He said he was accelerating Model 2 production.
Exactly.
So he trolls in, like, that's his way, right? And I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I think as long as you're like aware of that's what he does. Yeah, that is in fact what he does. Also, Nvidia is getting interesting for me here. We're below the 90 EMA, but it looks like we're trying to make a bit of a pop. Look at these bottoming tail candles. Look at this bounce off 128. I don't know if I want any smoke on this yet, but it's something I want to certainly be aware of. This 128.30, if we reject this, I will take a short with small size. I am about 30 pennies in the money on I to the W to the M. So very happy with that. I'm super happy with the size. I tried to add, but only got part filled at 89s. But as Sharif says, you're always mad as a trader. Oh, yeah. So yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm only looking at my P&L to see the size of this position because I want to know actually how much more I have. Okay, yeah, this is not a lot here. We're definitely going to let this one ride to the downside. If we come back to 80s and reject, I'll add because that 80 break was pretty sweet. So we're going to get a 78 fill ready for me at let's do 77s. I don't want to be too frugal just because sometimes you do want those shares. So I'm going to try for 77s. If I don't get 77s, that's fine. I don't want to be adding to oblivion, but I think in this trade, I mean, look at with the way I see this in the chart, I can get out some at 25s and then save a piece for VWAP. I think it totally makes sense to add this a little bit. So let's see how we go with the I to the W to the M. How goes the Apple?
It was good. We covered for like a 15 penny winner, got stopped out on the rest as it did break 88s. That was my line in the sand. But now I'm looking at Tesla, man, because we're missing out on a monster short here. Wow, Tesla is just flushing. There is no bid here, guys. Look at this. Oh, man, this is a monster short on the Cybertruck right now. It's going all the way down to 240. I can't believe the move we've had. We're already $30 off the top. 271 is the top. We're at 342.53. That's a low right now. What a day. I mean, we're plenty of range. Obviously, you know, looking for where the bottom could, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking that way. I should just be just looking south here. I'm just trying to get something on the pop-up, but easier said than done, certainly. So, yeah, Tesla, I'm looking at the side chart over here. Yeah, 242.52. We're back into 243 right now. I mean, I don't really have another resistance level to the top side unless we get 249. 249 is where we had a 3-candle holdup over here between 1141 to 1143. And I know I'm grasping at straws trying to look for resistance, but I mean, there isn't that much in the way of resistance because the move down was just so aggressive. So keeping my eye here on TSLA. I'm also keeping my eye on some of these other Mag 7 names because you get the likes of Apple and the likes of Microsoft now breaching the 10 exponential on the 5. So I'd like to see whether or not they come into the 20 exponential and hold up. Apple now above 227, having been down 225 3/4. So definitely not looking for a long on Apple, definitely not looking for a long on Microsoft, just looking as to where they may find resistance so that I can get in on the short. I'm still very short bias on the day. 20,500 just came and went on the future. And now the low of days, 20,475, guys. So we've dropped over now 500 points on the NQ. September contract now down a gnarly 2% on the day. Apple still doing the dance with no pants here with 227. So I could absolutely be persuaded to get back into this if it doesn't make its way back into around 227 2/3. That's where the 20 period exponential on the 5 is. It doesn't look like at the moment it's making its way up there. Same thing with the soft one. The same Microsoft looks like it's topping tail off. Let me just take this one off. Sorry, guys, to keep switching charts here. Looks like it's topping tail off 454, and it's already down 80 pennies, 453.20. Great rejection off that level. That was a 10 exponential and an area of local resistance owing to this trough over here. So it comes in basically to the same area and then goes, nope, thank you. That's as good as we're going to do on the day. So soft one on the way down. Eek, I missed this one. All right, I'm keeping my eye on Softy. I'm keeping my eye on Apple again because Apple's fighting right now with 227, a little bit above, a little bit below. I'm just waiting to see if it rejects or makes its way to the 20. I do want to get in a short at one of these levels of there.
A little bit of zig, a little bit of zag?
A little bit of zig, a little bit of zag.
Yeah, the Apple shorts have been nice because you have that like rounded bottom, but there's a little like baby opportunities there. So shout out to you for that. IWM.
Boots.
I can't say that, but because it is a pun legally.
Oh, apple bottom jeans? But it's a song. You could be singing a song.
I could, but yeah, thank you, Ramin, for putting that in my ear, our ear. IWM bouncing a little bit here off 209.25s. Part of me, I'm so tempted to take this out here. I have a really small position. Like I said, I really wanted more shares so I could kind of piece out as I go. So right now, if I do decide to do any leaving of the position, I am basically, I'm out, and I do think we could potentially go lower. So I'm going to be watching here. I'm okay holding this thing. Well, it's not going to be against me. It's still going to be in the money. But I'm okay with holding this and seeing what we do at 209.60s because 209.60s was that previous area of rejection. If we reject off there again, I shall add. If we do not, I shall leave, and I'll still be 40s in the money, so I can't be too upset about that. I'm really trying to work. I don't think I'd be working on holding today, but this trade ended up working for me, and so if I don't have any pieces to scalp out because I don't have enough pieces, I'm just going to have to stay in here and be patient and wait. As Sharif says, I will be packing my patience.
Yes.
Anyone eyeing AMD here, says Ponzi Fonzie. AMD, like I said, the price action on this has been something else. Today, I found it's been kind of wild and woolly and a little bit more difficult. Ooh.
4.
Indeed. So I was looking at this. I said I like this attempt to hold at 178. AMD laughed in my face, breaks lower. It's weird because we have all these bullish looking things here. Look at these bottoming tail candles. But then we also, I just thought of it. We have these bottoming tail candles for, it's gonna upset me. We have these bottoming tail candles here, but then we keep breaking lower. So you know what, with that in mind, I would love to see what we do here at this 78.50s is where we had that fall previously. Why? Because same here, we look bullish, we get to that area we could pop above, and we do not pop above. So that's something I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Though, as Rapid Home Repair says, AMD is ready to move. There is certainly something in the water here. Speaking of chips, I got out of, Fadera. I got out of NVIDIA legitimately flat. I was flat on this because I didn't like what we were doing. We were holding the 30s really well. We broke below. I got out flat at 30s. If I had stayed in this, I would have been more than 80 cents in the money, but woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm proud of the read I had on this. Definitely should have played it better, but I will admit I was in my head because I haven't been holding things as long. I also, like I said, the punt challenge has weirdly been impacting my mental, which is definitely a me problem. But this IWM trade is not impacting my mental, gotta say. Happy with this. Wish I had the opportunity to add, but as Sharif said, you're never gonna be totally happy as a trader. I am about 90 pennies in the money right now on this. Investing to Travel says, today is wild. And you know what, Investing to Travel? I agree. I fully agree. This has been a wild, woolly day on the market. Yeah, I think I'm pretty calm, Bora out. I actually think I'm like kind of subdued today because I can't blend. Yeah. But I appreciate that. How are you doing?
I can vouch for that. Yes, today is a subdued day. I'm short Apple again here because it keeps coming off 227. I'm going to give it 10 pennies. If it breaks 227.10, we'll get out, and it looks like it will here. So it's like, for whatever reason, Apple's just stronger than most at this this whole dollar level here. I'm looking at the side chart. That's what I'm looking at. Because, yeah, there we go. I'm out. Am I out? Yeah, I'm out here. Because it's strong. It's strong off these levels. So I go 0 for 2 on Apple. Well, I had this win, but then I got stopped out for the second attempt over here. I'm keeping an eye on Apple. I had the wrong trade there, it looks like, because the Zon just turned down, and I just loaded up the Zon for the 10 exponential retracement, and that one was right. But I still feel like Apple might be right at these levels over here. I'm just going to get a better price. So we'll go to, there we go. So we're short 98s. Let's see if we can cover something at 82s. Over here, so we'll just go all the way down to over here. So I'm going to put my stop again, 227. Oh, this might not be a good idea, but whatever, we're going to do it anyway. So here we go, and there we go. The stop is in place. Yeah, I mean, Apple is just strong at these levels. I don't know if I'm giving it a sufficient room because it just keeps moving up, blowing through my stop. I think I'm doing the wrong thing here, but that's okay. If you don't do it, you don't learn. So short Apple at 98s, and there it goes up again into the low teens, and I will get likely stopped out there. It just keeps moving up through the 10 exponential. I got to tell you, though, the 20 exponential off where I'm trying to get the other position, or The other short is at 227.50. So if this keeps coming into 227 or keeps going to the high side, I will short it off the 50 penny level, and I did get stopped out again right now from my Apple position. So we'll keep an eye on this one while Neil starts his lesson of the day.
Welcome, your lesson of the day. Well, I had some plans. I had an idea of what I was going to talk about there. Even made some notes about trending and when to fight, when to get out, when to live another day. And then Tesla happened, and that news dropped in there. And there's a few things that I wanted to quickly go over, because I think when you have an event like this Tesla potential delay of the robotaxi causing the stock to drop about $15 to $20 in just a matter of minutes, and it's not necessarily Tesla the first place I want to go over to, because one of the things you can do is you can look at these sympathy plays. Like, everyone's going to be watching Tesla. And just to give you an idea of what Tesla did next to Uber here, which I think for obvious reasons I want to talk about, Tesla fell like an absolute rock. This is the volume candle there on Tesla. You get an absolute hammer. It's at least 2 to 2.5x the volume of any candle on the day. So you know it's significant news right away, and you're rolling over and breaking levels and all that kind of good stuff. Now, if you're ever going to trade something as a sympathy play, first thing first, have an idea where you're going to go. Okay, other EV names are in play. I mean, there was some trades in Rivian. I'll get to that in a quick second. But a delay in robotaxi, who's that good for? First thoughts, Uber and Lyft. And if you look at since the news came out, Tesla tries to catch a bottom, goes back in and does another dipsy-do where it rolls back over. On the other hand, that spike up, so they're going in opposite directions, happens over here in Rivian. It pulls back into the same low. So it double taps and possibly is triple tapping the same support level up on the bad Tesla news as Tesla continues to go lower. So that's one of the things I want to look for. Okay, fine, they're going in opposite directions here, but do we have a situation where if Tesla continues to trend down, you're actually getting this strength here off of the same level that you can trade off on Uber? Or if Tesla starts breaking out, then you've got a flat bottom break into the other side. To quickly identify a potential trade idea in a related name, if you're able to. A lot of times when you're digesting the news, maybe you're trading Tesla and you're waiting around for an Elon tweet or something like that, and you want to find a level on another stock. There's no levels per se on Tesla. When it curls, it kind of just finds one here, 54, of no significance. Lower highs in here, maybe you could call it falling trend. But in the case of Tesla versus Uber, you're actually getting the same bounce now 3 times. Heck, as I was talking about it, you could have taken this 71.20 like a third time off of that same level. So positive for them. They're not the only ones reacting. You're going to get a move as well in Lyft. So when I pop these guys up, the reason not Lyft isn't as good, pulls back, you're getting lower highs or lower lows getting put in on Lyft. So you identify that one name is finding support at the same level. It's doing increased volume as you would expect after that news, and then jump on over to it. Now, the first place I was at was actually Rivian, because I was involved in the Rivian long when the news happened. Like, we had already dip bought into VWAP on Rivian, and then we dip bought into the same level again, and it looked like it was going to be good. We were scalping it back into VWAP. Eventually, I got stopped out. But that's what led me to look over and find something a little bit different and then go to the lesson of the day. It would have worked fine in terms of buying that dip in Rivian. It's actually still holding that same level. But when you understand the fact that it didn't do an extreme move on that Tesla news the way that Uber did, there's a little bit more juice to this being directly related to that robo-taxi story instead of just being adjacent to it. So you found that 71. I'm laughing at myself here because I could have just not been doing this and just gone long right here. It's actually silly, for crying out loud. This is 71.20 for all the reasons just stated. Yeah, sure, Rivian's bouncing 10, 15 cents off that level, but you just got 60 cents pretty much in a matter of seconds there on that Uber trade. So a lot of times when you have flash news like this, when it's that significant, when it's that big of a move, you want to look to see what else is going, what can you trade, where can you express a trade. It's great if you know in advance where you want to go. It's even better if you can quickly identify something. So Tesla continued to pull back and trend back in, but clearly the buyers wanted to support 71 and 71.20 on Uber. Quite the story. I don't think this is going to be done. And just on a side note, after we finish the lesson, you've got to respect something here. The last time this happened on Tesla is something very similar. We did have a story from Elon Musk. I don't remember the exact date, but Elon made a response and it reversed. So if you want to look at the big picture, Tesla just pulled right back into some support, theoretical support at the $240 level. If we were to hear or see something on X from Elon stating, this is bogus, blah, 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 don't believe, yada, yada, whatever he might say, you could be back in the 250s right quick. You've got to keep your ear to the ground on this one. I don't think you want to do anything but scalp trade at Tesla. And if you are going to do more than that, like look for a trend short under 250 or 254, which have been levels, just work back into it. A, have stops, have an idea where you're wrong, and then B, keep your ear to the ground. Obviously, if we get anything live, we'll be right at it, no problem, and we'll let you guys know. I got the Benzinga usually in my ear. I have it up as well. I'm following Elon, and I actually have his account up right now that we're watching. So the overall trend in Tesla, this is the first red day since it broke this sucker out, but I would not be trading it without some kind of ear to the ground on news. I'm not saying he's going to make some kind of a post and refute it, but if he does, I don't think you want to get lost in the sauce and tripped up that way. So the sympathy play, find a level. It's pretty amazing that like live as I was explaining, hey man, instead of finding stocks randomly moving, Uber seems to be bouncing into the same level on this news, and now Uber's at 72. It just continues to go. So I'll probably take a shot at this if it gets down here a fourth time. Uber off VWAP. Robotaxi news obviously going to affect this, and it wasn't that weak of a stock as well. That's why I forgot to mention this. I should have said this earlier. That's a mistake on my part. When the market was dying and going to the downside, I mean, Uber was holding out anyways. Like, it was already a relatively decent stock. So the fact that it's holding on to the bid in a weak market, I think makes a heck of a lot of sense. Now it would have been like 90 cents in the money. Next available dip, I'll try to pick some Uber up here off of VWAP. Good luck, everybody. That's your lesson of the day. Find those sympathy plays. If you can find a level to trade off of, you know the volume's going to be there, you know the moves are going to be there, and the trades can then follow.
Very much, Neil. Awesome, as always. I mean, Neil Roberts, guys, every day he's going to be dropping hot lines around that noon hour, so make sure to catch it with Neil on his lesson of the day. All right, as we were talking, there was not aggressive, but there was, decent retracements here to the long side. Apple and Microsoft now, and NVIDIA, should include NVIDIA in that as well, both at the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. In fact, Apple and NVIDIA have now breached the 20 exponential on the 5, and I was looking at shorting both at that level, as including Microsoft. So Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA look like they are more inclined to, at least for the moment, to retrace a bit more aggressively here than the likes of, say, Amazon, Meta, and Goggles, because they're both, all three, are still below the 10 exponential on the 5, whereas the other three are at the 20. So interesting look here. Tesla far lower than the 10 exponential. The 10 exponential's at almost 251. We're trading 247 and a fifth at the moment. So we'll keep an eye out on all these names to see if the 20 exponential retracement was just a moment in the sand. A moment in the sand. Yeah, I've got a gnarly headache, guys, so you'll have to excuse me. It's just a quick moment there and wham bam, and then we go right back down. I'm really focused on both these names, Microsoft, Apple, and NVIDIA, not both, all three of these names, to see if I can get a short off any of them. Still waiting, packing my patience, don't want to get cut up. I already gave back all my Tesla winnings on these bad word shorts on Apple because I was trying to take it. I was convinced that this was going to retrace, and my conviction got the better of me, and I did not trade it the right way. But I did have a level off which I wanted to get it. So, yeah, kind of a bit frustrating there, but we'll see what we get there.
Yeah, we'll see what we get. We will not get upset. It is 12:15. I can punt again. Oh, my gosh. The way that I feel so good. Like I said, I really think that it impacted my mental, for real. I think because when you're focusing so much on stifling a part of yourself or like focusing on things that aren't relevant, you're just not going to be as into the trades. You're going to get more in your head. You're not going to trust yourself enough. IWM, let's go. I want to talk about this because I did have a big L in this trade earlier. I was in the money nicely. I was in the money like 90 pennies. Then I added, I was going to wait to see what we did at 60s, but I decided I got a little bit greedy here. I added instead at 25s, ended up losing money and got out. Then I go to the washroom like a dare. You got to stand up. You got to breathe. You have to have your moment of clarity. Then I take this short here off the 90 MA. Working right now, we're going to be getting out at 58 with half the position and saving the other piece for the dream. You know where that dream is going to be?
Where?
That dream is going to be at this 25 area here, Sharif. Look how we bounced. That will be where that dream ends. Thank you so much. I am pleased as punch. And that hurt.
I want you to look at that.
Thank you so much to the $200 super chat. Thank you so much, Chair Engineering. That's so kind of you. Pizza and beer for all. Much respect to both of you. After 2 years of grueling work, Terra Engineering, just me, had a fantastic June. We're working and listening to you guys 4 to 5 hours a day for the knowledge and excellent company. If you're curious, Google NASA ICE, Terra Engineering. I'm gonna have to look this up. But thank you so much,
Yeah,
Terra
I'm gonna have to give this a lot of love.
Yeah, it's so kind.
$200 super chat. We're hitting all the buttons here, whatever we can get on the keyboard. I think I broke it. There we go. We got Sean Sub. We got the Dollar Club. We got this one over here. We even have Feifei jamming on you. Shout out to him. He just had a new kid. Shout out to Feifei. But yeah, thank you very much, Tara, for the $200. Needless to say, that is a large sum. Very, very appreciative of that. No question about it. And it's all because of you.
Yes, thank you. Literally, guys, thank you so much. This is so cool. Apparently, yeah, some kind of NASA's Break the Ice Lunar Challenge, it looks like. So shout out to you. Engineering, such a cool profession, too. And I think much like trading, one year to be really analytical. So shout out. Thank you so much for that. This was, really, really kind of you. IWM could be a little bit kinder to me right now. We're trying to bamboozling me a little bit. Happy I got back in. Like I said, this has not been the trading day of my life, and that is entirely my fault for not getting that mental right. Should have listened to some music before I went live just to clear my head a little bit, but let's keep going. TGT moving higher, says Isra. Yeah, TGT, I was looking at the stock heat map because that one was warm. Literally, it was, or I guess it was green. I don't know. It was, everywhere else was down a lot in that sector. Target was nice.
5.
It's been a lot today. Look at this bounce here at VWAP, more specifically around this 49.30 level. We get it once, we get it twice. We look like we're going to flat bottom break. Not so fast. We push higher. We're trying to breaking out of that range here of that 149.30 to 149.80. This is a great look here to the upside. Also, this reminds me, I don't know why this reminds me, it has nothing to do with it, but I want to look at some of these Chinese ADRs. We know those are strong, cracking down on short selling. So this has been a really interesting,
6.
JD, if you want to flat bottom break at VWAP, the amount that I would be down, Sharif. Do you know how much I would be down?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, JD, you're going on my side chart. Bye-bye, Carvana. Carvana can drive off into the sunset with all the other stocks
The puns are going to come in fast and furious now.
It was so funny, too, remember, because I remember yesterday people were like, oh, yeah, like, no more puns gay. And I was thinking, if you guys think I'm going to do less, I'm like, if anything, I'm going to go harder. I've been repressing these. This is like an after-school special. This is like an episode of Degrassi. The lesson is always, you have to be true to yourself because, you know.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think that was a huge learning lesson for me, and I do really want to thank Terra Engineering in all seriousness. So kind of you.
That's not a small amount of money.
No, it was not a small amount of money, and it was the message was so kind as well. Thank you very, very much.
For pizza and beer, and it's earmarked for exactly that reason because Tina Man is very pleased.
He is, as punch.
As punch. All right, Adair, so am I. Just took 30 cents on AAPL, still holding a piece. I'm looking for a 227 break here. 227 seems to be, for whatever reason, a bit of a support level right now. It's not really breaking $227, but it's not going to break my patience either. I'd like to exact revenge here on the dead one Apple for making me lose my Tesla winnings, but we'll see if this 227 can't come in. I'm joking when I'm saying that, obviously. I'm speaking tongue in cheek, but I'm looking for 20 exponential rejection on the 5, and that's why I got short. So it looked like this one was a deeper rejection, like Microsoft was. Microsoft also rejects off the 20 exponential on the 5. NVIDIA rejects off the 20 exponential on the 5. So the stronger names, the ones that breached D10 exponential on the 5, did find their resistance level, at least for the moment, at that 20 exponential. You'll see Meta, Amazon, and Google could not make it back into the 10 or into the 20 exponential. So I am more inclined to want to short those names because they are showing relative weakness relative to the other Mag 7 names. So Apple right back into my entry over here, and I'm going to give it about 5 pennies above my entry. And so if it crosses 35s, that's the end of the trade. We'll wait to see if we can extract a little bit more out of this one, but this one seems to be one of the strongest ones of the bunch now. How many candles to the house? That's the end of my trade there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 candles with higher lows now on Apple after it bottomed down at 225.77, now at 227 and a third. So still below the 20 exponential. If I can get in again, I will, but I just don't want to get cut up on it, keeping my eye here on AAPL.
Yeah, thank you so much to RJ McFly for the ZAR 14 super chat. I need to figure out what currency this is. That is, South African Rand. Ooh. Very cool. So I did not know there was a Z in that. But yeah, thank you very much. RJ McFly saying great stuff with the flag, the racing flag emoji. So hopefully you are zooming into some profits there. RJ McFly, thank you so much for the support. Gabriel saying in the chat, best chat in YouTube. Could not agree more. This is such a great community. So happy to be a part of it. Did take out about 15, this is math fast. 16 pennies here in the money of this IWM. I am not going to get out the rest of this yet. I want to wait and see what we do. I think we could be curling higher. We are kind of seeing a higher low here, but I have no reason to leave quite yet. That being said, I will not be doing weird, silly, willy-nilly little ads like I did, adding at VWAP. Like, Adair, what are you doing? I don't know, but now I know what I'm doing. We're going to go harder. We're going to keep going harder, better, faster, stronger with this market and this trading. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be doing there. What else was there? Uber says Ultra 3123. So Uber, and shout out to Darwin for pointing this out. Uber and Lyft likely went up here because we had that cyber taxi Robotaxi. I keep saying anything involved, but Robotaxi basically, Bloomberg reporting that they're going to be delaying the Robotaxi announcement, which honestly not a huge surprise. If you remember, the Robotaxi announcement came after Reuters reported that Elon and co would be delaying or would be canceling the launch of their Model 2. Yep. So the timing of it, a little suspect perhaps. So not super shocking there. They had less than a month to go. So, but this Uber definitely going here. This 71.40 bounce is just fantastic. We get a couple bottoming tail candles to really prove how strong that level is. Then we break off up like a rocket. This is a great look here. Uber, if you were in this one, your delivery came in time and it would give your driver a nice little tip. Great. Do
you know that, remember I told you today that Marquise Brownlee did an interview with Tim Cook after the WWDC event? Yeah. Who's my favorite pop star?
Her name is Dua Lipa.
And do you know that she did one with Tim Cook as well? And she's quite entertaining. I'm telling you, I'm long that girl. Right? Like if I could invest.
Yes, that's what we had this
if I could
conversation
invest in
camera,
Dua Lipa, I would be investing in Dua Lipa.
Well, I think it's a good investment because she's done also like covers. Her cover of this one Arctic Monkey song, Do I Want to Know, is just Chef's Kiss. That's when I really fell in love with her music. Okay. And I think she's got the star power. She's done a little bit of acting as well. She and John Cena played mermaids in Barbie. Oh yeah. That is not a spoiler. It's just amazing. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like I think she's really expanding her branding.
And she keeps, and I think she's likable. Quite likable as an individual.
Exactly.
And I think she keeps her nose clean. So, I don't know why I digressed there.
I didn't know she did that.
Yeah, shout out to Brad Gober. I have been insisting since she is 21. Yeah, man, look, I gotta say, I only went long Dua Lipa stock like earlier this year, maybe late last year. But I agree with you.
Good ROI so far.
Yeah, fantastic ROI so far. But we joke about that. But quite frankly, there is this theory that you can buy a token of an individual, and depending on how well that individual monetizes themselves, the owner of the token would be due a certain percentage of the revenue. So you could be investing in an individual. It's kind of like DJT, but not through an equity, but through a token. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's interesting to see whether that's going to happen or not. Just spitballing over here. All right, so let's have a look at some of the Mag 7 names quickly before we look at the small cap gappers and see how they're doing in the midway point of the show. Apple still at the 20 exponential, same thing with NVIDIA. So I'm not going to take any shorts there until I see rejections. But Now, look at Tesla. So we're seeing umpteen amount of bottoming tail candles, and this could bamboozle you. You're like, oh, bottoming tail candles. Buyers must be stepping in. They must like it at this level or whatever. There's traders or algos that want to take it up. Sure, fantastic. That could be accurate, no question about it. But I need proof here vis-a-vis the higher highs. You're not necessarily getting those higher highs, Katina, man. You're getting that stagnation at 247. What are you doing?
We shorted Uber.
The Katina man is now short Uber. So let's pull up a look here. Well, let me load it up first, Katina man, then I can guess, because I know how you like to enter at support and resistance. So let's look over here. So this is the chart on Uber. I'm going to go ahead and say that he's long at 72s. You're short. Sorry. Sorry, bro. Okay, so I'm going to say you're short at 72 and 2/3. 59, so I was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to him. The Katina man is short Uber at these levels. Keep your eye on more Trader TV. That is a simultaneous stream that we have on another account. The link is in the description, and Bears versus Bulls always doing the absolute most in a good way. Always puts the link there in the chat. So there it is, Ram doing the absolute most in a good way. There it is. See how Sean's positions are on the side? Wrong price. It's okay. It's close. It's close. It'll update though, Katina man. From what I understand, it takes a few minutes to update. You'll see that Neil is also long, 194-ish on the Zon, and then all the other pieces of information there. If you're not subscribed to that channel, if you're not running it at the same time, go ahead and do so now. And we should also let them know that they can vote. Favorite ticker of the day. You guys want to hear how the Katina man and the Neil got in on that Tesla short? Go in the chat right now. Vote for Tesla. Solicit your friends. Bully them. Do what you need to do. Have them vote your way, because guess what? Only the top 5 tickers make it onto the afternoon rundown. So have your say every day, Adara. Quickly before we look at the small cap gappers, Apple now above the 20 exponential on the 5. So, I mean, I don't really see a whole lot of resistance here other than $229 on the intraday chart here on the 5-minute look. That's where VWAP's hanging out. But it did breach. But most notably, it did not make a higher high above that 1210 candle, which did make it all the way up to 227.73. This one has 227.71. So we know vis-a-vis these two candles over here, topping tail, both of them, that there is a seller or someone going short at the $0.75, and down it goes. I will not be convinced otherwise. There is a seller around that $0.75, just dropped 40 pennies quicker than you say, how do you do? So Apple is finding resistance at the 20 exponential because the closing prints are not printing above that 20 exponential. Let's let it resolve. We don't have to be first. Shout out to Greg, who said, participate. Do not anticipate. However you feel about that advice, I like it.
Participate, participate, whatever you want. I'm actually not participating right now. I'm in NVIDIA, and I'm in NVIDIA for a specific reason that I think might not be manifesting. I'm in NVIDIA because I noticed, and this is the same thing like I said, I've really been working on my book reading. I've been trying to go to the library a little bit more, read those books.
That's good.
And which is ironic because as I age, I find I get too tired to read now. I will fall asleep. So good times.
Age?
As you age.
As you age. You're really going to actually say that?
I shouldn't have said that maybe. But
Yeah.
I feel like, well, you know I fall asleep really easily, right? So now it's like I cannot even sit to read, I will fall asleep.
Calm down over there, Ram. Take it
What did you
easy.
say?
She's like, say it, Adara. Say it with your chest out, Adara. Like, calm down, Ram.
But yeah, no, anyway, so I was being serious, but I see how, I know how it came
Joking.
across.
You know how.
Yeah, I know you're joking. Yeah. But this, the reason I got into this NVIDIA is because this is the same thing I saw here earlier. We're making these kind of higher lows. We have stuff that could be a little bullish, could be a little bit bearish, but then you see this consolidation on the book. Ooh. We'll get to a level, we'll go above the level, we'll hold it. We'll go below the level, we'll hold it. Now I find this tends to manifest as a long, and I know that because there were times I'd often try to short it. It wouldn't work. It did manifest as a long here. I don't know how to describe the pattern I'm seeing. It's a little bit of zig, a little bit of zag, but the book version, I guess.
I like
what I'll
it.
say. It's not the movie adaptation. It's not the chart adaptation. It's the book adaptation. Well, I'm back to planning. I feel so good. Oh my gosh. We're going to get out 2/3 of this position here because the biggest issue with my IWM, my IWM, was that I was not being scalpy enough. I was getting a little too greedy with it. Shout out to Ariana Grande, Tate McRae, and anyone else who had a song called Greedy. I'm sure it's a lot of people. But that is what's happening here with this NVDA. I'm going to be, if we could get 99, Sharif, do you know what I'd be? I'd be pleased as punch. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at Ram. She's in there in the chat under Trendatica. And she's like killing it, man. She's making me laugh today. Shout out to Ram. By the way, Ram, that Aleve you gave me is like bootleg Aleve. The headache is like as gnarly. Oh, okay, my bad. Saudi drugs. I love it. Yeah, all right. I can hear Fabian too in my ear as well.
Both of us now.
Yeah, all right. Hey, Fabian, how are you? Good. The Chilean Nightmares in my ear as well. They're playing a nice game back there. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour. It is 1/2 the hour. So we are talking about Elliot wave theory all week, guys. Tomorrow being the last day, of course. On Monday, we kind of introduced the concept to you. Tuesday, we talked about how to use fib retracements to measure the waves. Yesterday, we talked about identifying that, important trend-setting wave 1. And today, we're going to be talking about the most important of the waves, wave 3, because it's the biggest, it's the baddest, and it's the one that has all the momentum. It goes up and it goes down. It's not bullish or bearish. It's both. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So in Elliott wave theory, all eyes are on wave 3. This is the star of the show, the powerhouse that delivers the most significant price movement within a trend. Let's delve into the characteristics of the wave 3 and explore how to identify it for potential trading opportunities. So it is the heart of the trend, wave 3. Wave 3 is the longest and the strongest of the impulse waves. You'll recall from our lesson on Monday, the impulse waves are the trending waves. They are wave 1, 3, and 5. They go in the direction of the trend. The corrective or the consolidative waves are wave 2 and 4, and they go against the trend, and they're much shorter than 1, 3, and 5. So basically, wave 3 propels the price in the direction of the trend, as I just explained, often extending the gains of wave 1 by a significant margin. You should be able to glean from that wave 3 is bigger than wave 1. Here's why wave 3 is crucial. It extends the price movement, as we just mentioned. Wave 3 offers the greatest potential for profit due to its extended length and powerful momentum, but it also confirms the trend. So a strong wave 3 following a good wave 1 and a corrective wave 2 provides strong confirmation of the overall trend direction. And it also provides us with ample trading opportunities because it's so long and sustained and it has momentum. So identifying wave 3 can certainly help traders position themselves to capitalize on that trend's continuation. And this is kind of how Elliott waves would be kind of gleaned, measured in real life with real price action. The wave 1 starts from the trough and ends at the crest. And then wave 2 starts at the crest and ends at the trough. Remember, wave 2 is a corrective wave. And then you can see here, the biggest, the baddest of all these waves is clearly from 2 to 3. And so this is wave 3 starting at the trough, ending at the crest, and there's your wave 4, a corrective wave. So this is kind of how it looks. Each different wave series on an instrument will look different. It behooves you to practice identifying Elliott waves if you want to use them. So we're going to help you with that endeavor. So identifying the powerhouse wave 3, while not always perfect by any means, some key characteristics can help you spot wave 3. The first one is the length. Wave 3 is typically the longest of the 3 impulse waves, waves 1, 3, and 5. However, length alone is not a definitive indicator, so we need to look to strength as well. Expect to see strong price movement and increased trading volume, both movement to the high side or low side and increasing volume during wave 3 compared to the preceding waves of wave 1 and 2. And fibs absolutely feature here as well. Wave 3, in theory, can extend wave 1 by 1.6 times, meaning what? Once you've identified a wave 1 and you think a wave 2 corrective, you can basically glean how long or how sustained wave 3 will be based upon how strong wave 1 was. So you measure wave 1 and then you basically multiply that price by 1.618 and you get the general area. Now I would submit to you, it's a general area. It should not be a price target because this is all, very art, not science kind of thing. All right, and there we go. You have another kind of trend there where wave 1 starts at the trough, ends at the crest. Wave 2 starts at the crest, ends at the trough. And then you see the biggest and the baddest of the waves. The wave 3 starts at the trough, ends at this crest. But what I included this chart for was to show you the difference between the length of the corrective waves. Wave 2 and 4 are awfully shorter than another, but wave 4 was so deep in its correction that it qualifies for a trough, even though it was only like 2 or 3 days in length, okay? And some beyond the basics here, you shouldn't always try to look at the waves as independent. Sometimes they can overlap. So wave 3 can overlap slightly with the end of wave 1 or the beginning of wave 4. Don't get discouraged by minor overlaps. Focus on the overall trend and what you see to be the wave structure. And a corrective wave 4 is important here as well. A healthy wave 4 typically retraces about 23.5% to about 38.2% of wave 3. So if you're looking to see where wave 4 could, find that support level, you should be looking between 23.5 to 38.2%. I know that gives a wide margin, but that's where the data suggests wave 4 will bottom out. This retracement provides support before the final push, obviously, of wave 5. And the reason I included this particular chart in is because I wanted to let you know that gaps from wave 2 into wave 3. So if there's an initiation gap, and maybe we should do another lesson on that, on gaps, because it's been a hot minute since we've done that. But yeah, if you have a gap between what you saw to be the resistance level of wave 1, and then it comes down, corrects into wave 2. If it gaps above that resistance level of wave 1 that it's established, that is very, very bullish or bearish, depending on whether you're going long or short. So always look for gaps possibly for the initiation of wave 3, okay? And some trading tips for trading wave 3. Confirmation is key, as it is with almost all technical analysis. Don't rush into the trades based solely on wave 3. Look for confirmation from other technical indicators and a healthy retracement in wave 4 for better risk management. And entry and exit strategies, I'll show you an infographic on that in a second. Make sure your entries and your exits are based upon your risk appetite, your account size, and your trading experience. You shouldn't be going big boy if you haven't traded this setup before. Maybe even use it in the sim. And here is basically the infographic I was talking about. It gives you different situations about where wave 1, wave 2, and wave 3 are, and where you can place your stops, your fib retracements, as well as where to get your profit taker. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, have at it. I just want to leave you guys with one final thought. The market doesn't always follow Elliott waves by any stretch of the imagination. However, by understanding wave 3, you can potentially identify significant trend extensions and make better informed trading decisions where to get in and where to get out of there.
Yeah, I think, thank you so much, Sharif, for that lesson. I think it does show you, much like yesterday's lesson, where we're looking at the confluence between Elliott waves and other technical indicators. I think it's interesting, too, how you have the gaps as well, and how there can be overlaps, but also over gaps.
Oh.
And also, yeah, I agree. We can definitely fill in the gap between our gap lessons, like, because it's been a while since we've done the gaps.
Minute, yeah.
Like, all puns aside, in all seriousness, what's the lunch today, Sean? We never got the email.
Oh, it's barbecue chicken.
Yeah, and corn and stuff like that. It's not actually bad.
Okay, as long as it's not spicy.
Well, barbecue does throw a little bit of a curveball in there, Dara. Look at her half smile on her face.
Especially for my taste.
I know.
But yeah, also, we had a couple super chats. Yep. Thank you so much to RJ McFly for another South African Rand. I know my stuff now. $14 super chat. Go, Tara. Yeah, thanks again to Tara Engineering for everything. That was awesome. And that pun challenge taught me a lot about myself, and now you got to stay true to yourself. Pablo Huise, thank you for the $2 super chat. Delta after earnings call. I'm guessing you mean DAL there. Yeah, so DAL, Delta, call it Felta. It did fall. That one crash landed there after its earnings call. It's trying to get back up off the tarmac for sure.
Oh.
We were down. Look at this. We were down like 10% in the pre-market.
5, 6.
Yeah, these bounces off you are right, it's 6 somehow. These bounces off the 90 MA are beautiful. And I think as well, I love this 44.19 bounce. Why do I love this 44.19 bounce? I'll tell you. We had that rejection earlier here coming into 10:30 right when I did the crypto update. Then we come back up, make a higher low, and we bounce, which is fine. Bouncing is always good, but we also bounce exactly at that 44.20. I like that confluence. Not only we're making a higher low, but we're also bouncing off previous resistance. The resistance to support flip-flop is in full effect. Delta, are you really going to make everything back? We'll have to wait and find out, but this is a fantastic look. What happened to NVIDIA, says Slenderman? Yeah, NVIDIA, I scalp. I am a scalper, so I got out NVIDIA. Took 70 pennies in the money for a third of the position, got out the other third. earlier, but I'm still seeing higher highs, higher lows in NVIDIA. The reason I got out where I did with part of that position is because while I was in it, I didn't really like our inability to crack above 60s in a meaningful way at the time, so I scalped out. I'm still seeing higher lows off the 90 MA, but I'm also seeing a rejection here. Sorry, not rejection. I'm seeing that topping tail candle. Now, topping tail candles, again, as Sharif says, you don't want to put too much stock in one candle, but you know what I will put stock in on this stock? The fact that we're rejecting off this level that we did kind of have a bit of resistance on earlier. That's why.
It.
That being said, could this be a flat top break? Totally, it could. Could totally be a flag pull here off this bottom of 128. I don't want to discount that possibility, especially at the 130. The more I say this, the more I think this is a long. So I might get back in this. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to build into this because I'm seeing higher lows. I have no reason not to. We're going to start here, 70s. We're going to get a little chunk in there if I'm able to get in at 70s. I'm willing to add up into 50s. I'll be getting out if we break decisively below 30s. That's the plan here in NVIDIA.
That's good.
That's my story. I am sticking with it. NVIDIA has been my best name of the day by far. I just feel like I have a good read in it, so I need to be trusting that more. JD, I tried this short here off the 90 MA rejection, risked about 10 pennies, did not get in. It's all good, baby, baby. It was not all a J dream for me in this trade, but you just got to keep going, find new opportunities. What's your thoughts on AMD, says Susanna Pena? Absolutely. Oh,
I think that's number 7.
it's been a lot. Are you sure you're like, I think it's 7? Yeah, it is 7. But also, I mean, come on, Sharif. I can't help but push back when you see this wick up here into that previous area of support. I got to say, Susanna Pena, I don't want to scream AMD short, but I kind of want to scream AMD short. We got a couple topping tail candles, again, not on their own that important, and we are above the 90 MA, so that's an area to note. I would certainly watch what we do at 179, but the fact that we're rejecting here at that previous area of support is really spicy to me. And do I like spice in my food? No, I do not. Do I like spice in the market? Absolutely. I'm going to be watching Tesla for a short. I don't think I'm getting my AMD fill or my NVIDIA fill, so I'm going to probably chill with that fill and focus on some other things. But if NVIDIA does want to let me involved, I would be pleased as punch. How are you doing?
Hey, good. Looking at Softy, looking at Apple, they're moving up into the volume weighted average price. Neither of them stopped at, well, they briefly stopped at the 20 exponential, and I really mean briefly. But now both the 20 and the 10 on the 5, 10 and 20 exponential on the 5-minute chart for both those names are pointing up. I'm still very reluctant to want to go long anything right now on the Mag 7, even though obviously Apple did provide you with a gnarly long there off that 225 3/4 up into 228 now and a half. That's a 3-banger. So we'll see if we find resistance. You can see that purple circle on my chart. I'm looking to go short at 88s to short at the volume weighted average price. I'm also keeping an eye on the future. We are now above 20,500, but really not moving aggressively. And I got to tell you, I'm seeing a couple of topping tails show up at Apple here. So I'm very interested in getting short. I just don't want to get short too quickly because that has been my problem with Apple today. I got short a little bit too quickly and didn't wait for my level. So waiting for 88s to come in. They've been elusive at the moment, at least. We got into, I think, the low 70s, but nothing in the 80 prints. Right back down we go into the 50s. Now, the other thing I could do is I could short through the break of the low of the previous 5-minute candle. So the previous 5-minute candle that closed at 1240 has a low of 228.27. So I could say, you know, wait for the break of the $0.25, 228 break of the $0.25, and then look to go short there. So any number of ways I can weasel my way into this if I don't get the 88s that I like. So yeah, I'm seeing a whole bunch of resistance come in here, but I saw this before on Apple, so I don't want to do something dumb and get stopped out. So packing my patience here with AAPL, looking to get short at, you know, generally that VWAP area, but it just keeps coming down, not making its way back up. I feel like I'm seeing the same thing that Darrow was seeing on AMD, on NVIDIA, where they're coming back, curling back into a key area of technical support, now resistance from, yeah, so that's kind of what I'm seeing there. We'll see what we get. I'm packing my patience. I'm not punching into the short yet because it keeps zigging and zagging above the $0.50. Into the low 60s it goes. Back down into the high 40s it goes. So it's showing me topping tails, but I'm unsure what to do at the moment. The Katina man is short Uber, and he is also starting a Starbucks short. Long. Going Starbucks long. S-Bucks long. He wants all that.
All the lattes.
Yeah, exactly. I blanked out there for that. I was gonna say all the spros, but yeah, you know, you can.
Espresso Bros. Yeah, you and BPI are Espresso Bros.
Oh yeah, BPI gets his dose of spros every day, baby. BPI doing the absolute most with. How's Mara looking back there, BPI? She's beating up on Patty today, so but it's okay. The day's not over. The day's not over yet. Patty could get even. He's talking about cement.
Oh wow,
shoes.
we're threatening
Go
stocks.
ahead.
I love it.
Oh yeah. I've threatened stocks
That's
before.
true.
It's all good.
They're all punks, I know.
Yeah. Well, all right, I'm going short Apple here, Derek.
Yeah, so I got to my NVIDIA long. I'm really proud of myself for seeing this. I trusted my read on the book. I did not like, no, to be clear, could we still be wedging? Absolutely. I fully believe that, but I did not like the fact that we couldn't hold on to this 129.70 anymore. I was like, I'd rather lose 13 pennies than lose a whole bunch. I know I would say I was interested in risking to 30s, but I would have been interested in risking to 30s if I saw a lot more confidence for the long than what I was actually seeing IRL. That being said, if we stay below 70s, I will flip short. I don't want to hop into the short too quickly because as Neil says, before you flip directions, you always want to make sure you have everything there. I want to make sure I have all of the balance of the evidence before I, do my Law and Order thing, get my verdict ready, chung chung, right? I want to make sure I have everything prepared before I do that. Shout out to the Law and Order sound, which is iconic, and I will not apologize. Also, Tesla coming into, I love that show. Tesla coming into a really interesting area here for me. I was almost going to do pushback, but I'm like, if you push back for everything, they're not special anymore. But look at this 247, what is this? 247.25, look at this. We had this area earlier. We ended up forming a support. Sharif, I really do want the smoke. I don't know if I want the smoke because it's Tesla smoke. But I'm happy you didn't get into the smoke too quickly because I want to see what we do here. If we can't hold this 247, I'll go short. If we hold it, I'll take it long. But I think the issue too is because I've been trying to rely less on my short bias, I've been missing really good short opportunities lately. That cannot stand, that cannot fly, that cannot hang. I need to be getting better about that. That is for sure. Because I need to think of it less as a bias and more as a helpful tool to notice things. I mean, it can be both. To be clear, it can be both. But right now, Tesla doing something fasting with 247, so I will be keeping all of my eyes, ears, and sensory organs on this T to the S to the L to the A.
All right, nothing. I'm just laughing at your joke. Because sensory organs, somebody said that before.
You said
boom on the dead one. Yes. All right. We went short at the $0.50, just covered there. Nice. 30 pennies in the money. Let's see if it can make it down into 28s. I'll cover at 28s for a 50 penny banger. Buyer at 10. There it is, Darren. There's the 50 penny banger. Yes, finally, Apple, you punk. On the day, Apple's good in my books. Obviously, it's the biggest long-term account holding, so we're not going to disrespect it too much, Katina, man. What's going on over there? Oh, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Just took that banger there. I want to remind you guys, Katina Man's long Starbucks, short Uber. Keep your eye on more Trader TV to see what he and Neil are up to. And down goes Apple again through the break of 228 Adara. So we'll keep seeing if weakness keeps coming in on these Mag 7 names because I see the same kind of look on NVIDIA where it just broke above the 20 exponential, got into 130, and then all the smoke to the downside came. You can see that there was umpteen amount of sellers at that 130 area. The only breach came in at 1210 when we got into that 130 and high 30s. 130, high 30s there. But for the majority of these 5-minute candles, you'll see the wicks and the closing prints all south of that 130 area. Down goes NVIDIA below 129 again. Low of day 127 and 2/3, about $1 above that right now. So NVDA very much near the low of day. And I should mention to you guys, bang, go for it there. 137 was the pre-market high that we popped into there off that lower than expected CPI print, but that is as good as we could do on the day because every successive low has been lower. And every successive high since that has also been lower. So the weakness coming in spades today on these here markets. Look, keeping an eye on NVIDIA, keeping an eye on Apple. But I got to tell you, I could be maybe confirmation bias because I'm obviously involved in Apple. But to me, Apple looks the strongest of the bunch on the day. It and Microsoft look awfully strong. It just doesn't want to give up that 228 level. I'm going to look to get short on Apple again, though, at 229. Quite frankly, strong or not, I want to see what it does at VWAP. I won't have a resting order there, but I'll definitely be all eyes to see what it does at that whole dollar level. META is looking very... I did that on purpose because Ram doesn't like when we don't
She's
talk,
like, why are
right?
you guys like not talking?
Flat bottom breakish, 513.10 low of day, 513.55 we're printing. So Meta looking like it really wants to give up the ghost here. Seems to be a buyer at lucky number 13, at least for the moment. Guys, Meta popped into $538 on that pop. Now we're talking about 513. Could we see a 500 today by the end of the day and retrace $38? That's crazy. We'll have to wait and see, but lots of weakness on the Mag 7. All right, let's flip to the small cap gappers and see what's afoot with some of these small cap gappers. LCFY was or is the number one gapper on the day, but it is south of VWAP. But here's the thing about LCFY. It does look like maybe good. Why does this thing always die on me? There we go. So I'll have to go to the 1 minute chart on LCFY. It is making higher lows. So for whatever reason, it's holding up at the 200 exponential on the 1. And it's obviously finding resistance at VWAP. You could just see that. You don't have to be a chartered market technician to see that it's rejecting between 1230 and 1236. Each and every touch to the volume weighted average price rejected. That also happened over here at 1125 to 1135 when it broke down below VWAP. After that down halt, it used VWAP as a level of resistance, and that hasn't changed. Here we go, 7.5 now acting as that level of resistance. But what I'll be looking for is that 775, 7 low 80s where VWAP is at. If this takes VWAP, then this will be interesting here because it's been obviously below it for a long time, using it as resistance. If it breaks it, look to use VWAP as support. So LCFY doing its thing, but MEI and LNTH are obviously the best looking charts on the day in small cap gapper world. One is a continuation play from yesterday, LNTH. You can see the price action there on the left. This was a big boy mover today, and it's another big boy yesterday, and it's another big boy mover today. 106 and a fifth is where we closed out at. The high of the day right now, 123 and a half. So it's a spready name, but as you can see, I mean, look at the love that this is giving to the 10 exponential on the 5. I mean, every single closing print north of that, you can see that exact same look on MEI. This one, not a continuation play, but it did move a little bit in the aftermarket yesterday for whatever reason on big boy volume. You can see that 4 p.m. print come in there, and there's a whole lot of volume. So it looks like someone was getting ready for MEI yesterday. At least that's how it seems. Interesting. Today, the volume, though, obviously a lot higher. It's printing high day as we speak, 1394. Hasn't been up this high in a really long time. Looking to knock on the door, 14 bucks, up 47.5%. And it behooves me to give you the details on this one. It is not a small cap gapper. It's about a $500 million market cap. It's done 2.5 million volume on the day, which is why I'm a little suspicious of it. The float, 33.5 million shares. And the short float, let's find out, and shout out to Nos Boss and his boys over there at Trade Ideas. 5.13% of the 33.5 million shares is short. So definitely something to keep in mind. Looking at the high of day right now as we look at MEI. What else do we have here? QuantumScape's been dead money since the opening move. It's been hugging VWAPs for whatever reason, finding support here at the 50 exponential on the 5, but that resistance level at 7.25 has been unshakable since we broke down below it at 930. 930 really kind of was as good as it gets here for QuantumScape. What I'll be looking to see if this is a second day play tomorrow, because QuantumScape's not a small cap gapper, guys. This bad boy has been on my radar for a long time. They are very much involved in the solid state battery technology. So this is obviously something very big for electric vehicles. So if they can break through that and make it scalable, that's going to be a monster. There's a huge lawsuit, I should mention, by the way, guys, with shareholders in QuantumScape for overstating their technology. It's been multi-year suit now. I showed you guys this chart when we started the show, but I want to show it to you again. This is QuantumScape, and it's not a pandemic pump. This was because investors actually believed that they had the technology for solid-state batteries down pat, and then obviously when things were discovered that it wasn't that way, you guys saw what happened there on the chart, and it's been that way for a hot minute. So QuantumScape, keep it on your, put it on your watch list or whatever, because There's a whole lot of money right now in the solid state battery. They really want to figure this out for electric vehicles.
Yeah, and I think it's an interesting one too because there are a lot of fundamental components that are interesting. Shout out to Alfred on the bat phone, but also it's not a small cap, but it's interesting because I did look at the market cap for this one when I did the watch list and put it in the watch list because it's interesting to me.
What is the market cap?
It's just on the cusp of being a small cap. It's 2.87 bill, so 2.5 bill.
3.5 right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, plus
it's gained.
You looked at it on Icon, didn't you?
In the morning,
it doesn't update. Whenever there's a pump, I don't know why it doesn't update. Brendo's happens the same thing as women.
Did not know that. But the point is it's still a little bit smaller too, right? So it can give you some of those small cap moves. We've had names that are like, you know, they just have that pump. So interesting look there. And I like what you said too about it maybe being a multi-day play because we've had a lot of those. Lately, right? Zap, so many.
Longeveron,
MLGO, which tried to go again today for some reason.
There have been multi.
Because it can. No reason why, except because it can.
Well, the Catman might have had something to do with that.
Oh, that's true, the multi-day part?
Yeah, true. True. Yeah.
Also, we're waiting on an auction. We'll have to see what the re-auction is to our 30-year bond auction coming in at 1 p.m. We have 5 minutes for that. Tesla, I've taken a couple scalps, so I'll talk about those. Tesla took that scalp, 246 scalp. Really proud I got it kind of near the bottom here. We're making higher highs, higher lows here on this TSLA. Actually, I guess not higher highs, but we have had higher lows. Got out when I basically saw a pause. You took about 50 pennies on it. But Tesla now trying to reject that 247. So we're going to get involved here. Smaller position because I think that other move I felt a little bit better about. We're going to be getting involved short 80s here. If we break decisively above that 247s, I'll be getting out, but I'm getting involved in 246.80s. I have a feeling this is going to push higher, but I need to be more confident. I need to see stuff I believe in here. So let's see if we get what we want here on this TSLA. You can't always get what you want in these markets, but if you see stuff you like, you certainly can try. And I do think sometimes you'd rather try and have it not work out than not try and wonder what could have been. I do like our rejection right now of 247. We have poked our head above 247 and then come right back down. So let's see what we do here. If we bounce back off 247s here, I will get out. That's what I'm watching. Had that break back below. There we go. Let's keep pushing lower here. TSLA. Definitely not the best entry point because right now I'm basically flat on it. Would have probably been a little bit more optimal had I gotten short of 247s. But hey, Tesla, you want to give me I'll even take 20 pennies on this. I will take, oh my gosh, Tesla, you want to give me more? I'm pleased as punch with that. Took 40 pennies on that TSLA. This is the type of scalping I need to be doing more of. Also, so NVIDIA, like I said, I wanted that long flat top break. That was the look I was looking for, right? That was something I was really interested in. Then I realized, I was like, you know what, Adara, you're seeing these lower highs in the book. I was willing to build in this position, but I said, get out 10 pennies. You'd rather get out 10 pennies. You're seeing stuff you don't like on the book than not get out and wonder what could have been. Happy I got out. Should have probably flipped short there, but then I did end up shorting here. And I knew this was kind of an interesting area because we had that 128.80 area, which was a bit of a resistance area earlier on the 90 MA, then we popped higher. I know resistance and support can flip, so I get short, and then I'm like, Adara, try how it goes. I should have probably added to this at 129s because I got it all initially at 128.80s. We rejected the 129, so I stayed in the trade. Please as punch that I did ended up taking about 30 pennies. Those are the trades, the only things I'm looking at right now. My scalps here on Tesla and NVIDIA. And the reason I'm focusing on scalping as well is because IWM, I had a good level in this. If I had scalped it, if I had been more true to my style, this definitely would have gone better than it ended up going. I ended up adding here. I was 90 pennies in the money and added. I guess I was getting greedy there. I wanted more profit. That was not the vibe. So I definitely need to work a little bit harder on that, making sure if that's the type of trader I want to be focusing on that. Yeah, sorry guys, honestly, I'm not even really on any coffee today. I'm just really energized by these markets. And I'm always so pleased as punch to be. Apparently. I'm like, this is honestly, I think, a pretty subdued Adara.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different levels of Adara energy. And this is, I would say, a more chill area. Darius Golden, I love this question, and I think I want to answer this. You often say you see things you don't like in the book. Can you give us just one carrot of what you might see and not like?
Fantastic.
Thank you for asking that question. And I apologize I haven't gotten more into detail about that because I find sometimes you see stuff and you want to react right away. I'm just keeping an eye on the auction. That's why I was checking my watch. So basically what I might see and not like, I'll give one example. This is an old example, but IWM here. So I got long initially, then got out and decided to get short. So the reason I wanted to get short this IWM, my first attempt at the short, is because we were below that 210.20. But then I got nervous because on the book, we kept bouncing off this area where actually right now, this 210.13s, 210.14s. So if I'm seeing basically, let's say, for example, we're getting a little bit higher on the buy side. Let's see, we're from 210.12s. Then the lowest we're getting on this chop and turn is 210.15s. When I see those higher highs, the same as when you see higher highs in a chart. It's a little bit bullish, right? And then same, for example, again, to use another example, my NVDA, what propelled me to get out of that short or that long was because initially what we were seeing were higher highs on the books. We were seeing 129.85s, 129.90s. We're seeing these things that are giving me a sense that we're climbing higher. But then instead of the book, we started seeing lower highs and we were barely holding on to 129.70s. So when I see a hold like that, I see it as a bit of a breaking point. In that case, because we were drifting a little bit lower and flipping from support at the 129.70 to resistance, that's what got me out of the long. I hope that makes sense. I know it's a little bit wishy-washy. I should maybe do a video on this for my Instagram, because I do have an Instagram, tradertv Adara. I have considered doing a video for that, because I think that would be a really interesting look, because I've gotten really into book and tape scalping, and it's something I would love to get more into. So I really appreciate the question, Darius Golden. That was really thoughtful, and you've had a lot of thoughtful questions in the chat, and I love, because when you answer questions, you get the opportunity to reflect, hey, why am I doing this? What am I looking for?
Yes,
so,
that's actually a great question and a great answer, because, you know, I mean, I completely understand your response to that. Like, when we're trying to get in a position, we're like fumbling with the keys. It's kind of very hard to be like, oh, well, I saw this, and that. By the time you get to that, the trade's gone.
Yeah. So yeah, it's easier to explain it after the fact, and especially if you're seeing things quickly. Guys, I am waiting for this 30-year bond auction. I'm not seeing much of a reauction. I'll switch to the Qs here. We're continuing to get a little bit choppy and a little bit churny here on these Qs. We're near lows of day. Oh, this could be interesting if we reject here off the book here, depending on what the bond reaction is. We've had a couple topping tail candles here into 492.78. I'm just waiting for this 30-year auction. Come on, guys, let's figure this out. Check out VFS, says Solar and Logical. I like that. If you're Solar and Logical, I bet you're having a great day there, because Solar has been great. VFS on the NQ, which I did not realize. So Vin fast, let's see if we're moving Vin slow or Vin fast on the day here. This is a great look on Vin fast. Neil and Shreve used to joke I was a VinFast bull, because we'd come in and VinFast be up. I'm like, oh my gosh, VinFast and stuff. I was just excited for them, because I love seeing, you know, companies be up on the day here. And I mean, look at VinFast. Was there a catalyst on VinFast, or is it just general?
It's up
EV
big. Remember
stuff?
we talked about
that? It's up like 17, 18%. Yeah,
I don't have anything on it.
I just saw this again now, because someone mentioned it in the chat.
I lied about yesterday. The Vietnamese EV maker VinFast set course for the Middle East. So we've seen that before. We've seen some EVs trying to weasel their way into there. Most notably, the Chinese EVs are really trying to get a foothold in Latin America. In the Middle East, they're likely going to have more success in the Middle East, because the U.S. is already lobbying Latin American countries like Brazil, big countries in South America there with big markets, to put the same kind of tariffs on Chinese EVs. They don't want them anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. That's the kind of feeling I get from that. But the Middle East not following suit, so they may have a bigger foothold there. Keep your eye out on that. But yeah, VinFast, interesting look today. 17.5% on fantastic volume, guys. About 3 million shares or so. Let's bring in the chart on VFS and see what they're up to on the day.
So we got the auction is basically flat, 4.405% versus 4.403%, which is probably why the market didn't react, because there's kind of nothing to react to.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the chat too, guys.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I think personally, I'm looking more towards the shorter end of the yield curve for those market moving events like the 10-year, the 5-year, the 2-year, and less more for the 30-year, just because you're not getting rewarded for duration risk, right? Usually when you put your money locked in for 30 years, you should be rewarded vis-a-vis a higher interest rate than locking it in for 10. That hasn't been the case for the last 4 years almost now. So I'm less inclined to worry about the 30, but what do I know? So keeping an eye on that. All right, I'm also very interested in another look here on the dead one Apple. Because it keeps coming into this 227 and 2/3 area, an area where it had previously bounced and then rejected. So I know it's an area of interest. There's been a lot of intersection at this 227 and 2/3. I'm unsure why, and I kind of don't care. So we have an obvious trough there, at that level. We have an obvious crest here at that level and another obvious crest there. And now we're consolidating at 227.60-ish, 227.75-ish, in and around that area. So I want to see if we bounce off this area, because right now we're not. We're still putting in those lower highs with that flat bottom at 227.60. But if it bounces off here and curls back into VWAP, I do want the smoke. It's just unsure how this is going to resolve. But I know, just based on the chart reading here, that 227.60-ish, 227.70-ish is of an area of interest, at least on the day here, for AAPL. So watching that as it does hold the level for now, but I'm less inclined to want to get long on anything unless I see some newer highs coming in. Alas, that has not come into fruition yet. Pretty Panda, is there a due date on the stash? It's cool, by the way. All right, I'm going to address the stash. So far, the stash has been running wild, all right? It hasn't been manicured. I've just been letting it grow. I haven't been really doing anything with it. I've now decided that, you know, the forest needs to be trimmed a little bit. And when I go get my haircut on the weekend, I'm going to tell him to kind of like bring this down a little bit so it's like more defined and like trim it out and stuff. I didn't know how it was going to look. But personally, when I started looking at myself from the side view, I'm like, yo, it's taking over your entire mouth, bro. You got to calm that thing down, right? So I'm going to
tame it a little bit.
Yeah.
Cut down a couple trees in the forest.
Yeah.
I was just laughing when you said forest. That's why I laughed, because that's pretty funny.
So that's what I'm going to do. So shout out, thank you for the comment. But yeah, I'm going to trim down the stash a little bit. Guys, Meta is in a full state of tank. 512.90 LOD right now on MET. What's going on there, Katina man?
I thought I was doing good getting out at 522.
The Katina man got out 522, and he's like, look, I thought I did really well. How many dollars was that?
We were short at 35.
He was short at 35. You do the math. 35.22, that's $13 in the money. And Meta gave him another $10. But obviously, who can ever call the bottoms and tops? I know I can't. So fantastic trade, obviously. Chapeau to the Katina man for that trade. But Meta is at that 513, lucky number 13. On the day, trying to hold around 513. It did breach it by 10 pennies at the most. But as you can see there, the successively lower highs have been in play all day on Meta. I would submit to you this is more of a volatile name. We see it pop up aggressively in the past, and it stands to reason that it's going to retrace aggressively as well, Adair. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to get to that lesson soon, because we do have one more lesson of the day. NVIDIA, I've been talking about this level all day because it's been deeply fascinating to me. I mean, and Sharif said this as well. A lot of these mega cap names are doing fascinating things at previous areas of support and resistance where they really make you like want to bite your nails and be like, what are you doing? They make you feel like they're the dead one. Do you know what I mean?
The comments are just.
Oh, is it Bob W's? Because I laughed at
they're all really
Elliot
funny.
Wave stash?
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah, like, where's wave one, Sharif?
I know, where's wave one?
Find wave one. Where's the corrective wave? The people want to know.
I don't know, Adara. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that. I'm not as clever as you, like, in answering these type of things with puns. But yeah, I don't know. They're all really funny.
If it was Elliot waving, I think it would be like up his face, would it not?
Oh well, yeah.
So. I mean, no, but shout out to the mustache. I think Sharif laughed because I did not notice it for like a week. It took me a while to notice the mustache. I didn't even notice when he shaved his beard.
Yeah,
I remember
but we didn't know
that.
each other that well back then, so I kind of give you a.
But it was still like a full beard in retrospect.
Yes, it was.
And then it was not a full beard. I remember I was like, oh, I didn't even notice him. Brendan's like, how did you not notice? And I was like, that's fair.
That picture has that. Okay, so this August will be 2 years for me on the midday show. And that picture was taken 2 years ago. It hasn't changed. I gotta update that thing, man. My hair was way shorter, I had a beard. Anyway, not the point there. The thumbnail for the midday, that one right there. Yeah, and Adara, you don't look like anything like that. Your hair is way longer now too.
I'll find the thumbnail for you guys because it is like I have lighter hair, I have shorter hair. I took my photo on Halloween, so it kind of reflects that.
Well, there you go.
But yeah,
I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about this one over here.
That one too, yeah. But Ramin was saying the thumbnail.
Oh,
like look at us on the thumbnail here. We have shorter hair, curly hair, and then we have
Beardo.
Almost
Beardo.
Sounds like a Hobbit, Beardo Baggins.
By the way, Katina, man, I was telling Brendo this yesterday. That video of you talking about the imbalances with Arun that we showed yesterday on the morning show. You lost a lot of weight since that is true.
It's not true.
Well, it is true. actually, because my eyes don't lie to me there, buddy. But yeah, shout out to you, bro, because I noticed that immediately. I told Brenda that yesterday. All right, Apple on the way back up, so it is holding that 227 and a third or 2/3 Adara, generally that area we kept talking about, and it's now moving up into that 228 area. So I know this is an area of interest. I can glean that from the price action. Now, how do I weasel my way in? Do I get into the long here and go counter trend trade because everything's down and to the right today, or do I look to short the pops into 228? I'm straight up unsure, and there is no Sean-fidence, Obi-Wan-fidence in this level. I'm gonna have to wait till I see a little bit more. Adair, what do you got?
You're gonna wait till you get more Neilage about the level. I mean, you dropped Sean and Obi. You had to. We got to drop Neil in there too. Also, we got to drop votes. Go in that chat right now! Exclamation point! Join space $, whatever tickers your fancy. Maybe it's Nvidia. Maybe it's Amazon. Maybe it's AMD. Maybe it's AMC. Maybe it's Gimma. I don't know. You guys know tickers. You know what you like.
What it is.
You go in there. Exclamation point! Join space $. Get that ticker in there. Nvidia. I did go short. I took less size on this because this level had been so wiffle-waffly. Do you know what I mean? We were like kind of hanging out, kind of down. And the last time we were at this level, we popped beautifully, and I got out of the long because I was seeing the same kind of thing as this, but I had to compare, right? As Obi always says, something distinctly different, right? You want to see what's distinctly different. The way this is moving is distinctly different from that initial move. I tried this earlier. We couldn't break below 128.16, which is the level I got short, so definitely not the best level for entry. But now what I'm seeing here is we've tried so many times to break above 40s, we can't do it. Could this still bamboozle me and be a long? For sure. It looks like it's trying to now, so I'll get out. I'll take a few pennies. Would rather take a few pennies than lose a lot more pennies. Because there you go.
Nice,
could have gotten a little bit more. But even now here, so Darius Golden was asking, what do you mean when you see stuff on the book that you like or don't like? So every time we get to like 128 mid-teens, we bounce. That I don't like. Now we're breaking down, right? So really, things can be bamboozling. They don't always work how you want them to, but I just didn't like that we were seeing kind of higher lows and inability to break below on the book, especially given how strong that long was off that level earlier. So that's why I got out. Happy I tried it. Happy I took small shareage. Shout out to Sharif. But now, because that 128 area was support earlier, 128.16s, if 128.16s flipped to resistance, that could be a level I'm interested in. But I'm not, Ursa was saying it's going to hold 128 and bounce. To be fair, that is actually being supported right now by the chart, so that could be what's happening. But I always am going to scalp anyway, so that's always going to be more what I'm looking for. But let's see as well the lesson before I get too excited about my NVIDIA.
All right.
So, Unveiling Wave 3, which is not on Sharif's mustache. It is actually just a wave. I will say, I think that the charting the mustache makes more sense to me as an analogy than the Elliot wave. You know, I was like, I don't know how you would do it, but.
I don't know either. I asked my barber, I'm like, how do you do your mustache? And he started showing me all this ways he curls it. I'm like, I'm not doing any of that, man. Like,
he spends like 4 hours a day.
Yeah, he's like showing me, he's like, look, and I pull the outer parts. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not doing any of that. It seems like way too much work. So.
Yeah, it seems a little bit like a lot. Yeah. Instead of quantum scape, it was like mustache scaping.
Ram said that they get it wired thread and it ends up staying that way. I don't know, Ram. Like, what kind of, is there pain involved in that or what's going on? She doesn't know. She's going to find out. Beauty is pain, says the Chilean nightmare. I'm not repeating that, Ram. I'm not repeating that, Ram.
Keep up, people do thread their eyebrows. That is a thing. People thread their eyebrows.
I know.
So that could, yeah. But let's talk here about the heart of the trend.
Boom, boom, boom.
The waves of the ocean, the heart of the ocean, the heart of the Elliott wave trend. So we talked about wave 1 yesterday, but wave 3 is going to be the longest and the strongest of these impulse waves. So that is going to be 1, 3, and 5. So of the odd, I had 4 fingers out there, but pretend I had 3. The Elliott wave, the third wave is going to be the strongest of these 3 impulse waves, the odd numbered waves, and it propels the price in the direction of the trend, which is why it's the heartbeat. It's beating it towards the upside or towards the downside, and it often extends the gains of wave 3 or wave 1 by significant margin. Also, I just saw this comment that I have to put out here. Pretty Panda saying Sharif is the new Poirot character in the movie. Using the new Poirot character in the movies is something to aim towards stash-wise. No Poirot.
No, I don't.
Hercule Poirot from Agatha Christie. Oh my God, he's got this iconic mustache. He's this like novel. I'll find him for you because I just saw that and I was like, yeah, here we go. Hercule. I grew up reading these books. This is Poirot. This is
Okay. Well, you know, he's a handsome gentleman. I don't want to disrespect him. But I kind of feel like I don't look like that guy. He
I'm
looks
just
a
reading
Pringle
the chat.
guy.
I'm just I saw that Poirot reference in the chat. Ramin is really indignant, and she said you should have said the Pringles guy.
Wow, the Pringles, man. Adara, I just took 40 pennies there on Apple super quick. We got long at 60s for that area that we talked about, that 227.60 area, and I just covered at 228, so I'm really happy with that trade. Go ahead.
Yeah, 40 pennies on Apple is like crazy. Like that is a really, because that one has the potential to often move very slowly.
Lately, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mean, now it moves like, but even then, like it's moving quickly. I'm like, that's,
Yeah.
I'm going to shout out.
Appreciate
just teamwork
you,
does
Darren.
make the
Appreciate
teamwork.
you, yeah.
Get that applesauce. You did not get lost in the applesauce.
No, I did not.
Other than
Not
that
this
one.
time anyway. I did before, though.
But yeah, let's talk here about this, why this is so crucial, because you have the extended price movement, right? Wave 3 will offer the greatest potential for profit due to its extended length and its powerful momentum. It also confirms the trend. So you've had wave 1, which is that first wave of impulse showing you a side here. Also, this is the photo Ramin was referring to with regards to how different Sharif and I look from the thumbnail. But yeah, so basically the strong wave 3 will follow the wave 1, and then the corrective wave 2 will provide a strong confirmation. So it shows you the overall trend direction. You've had the wave 2, which is maybe going to cast some doubts on wave 1, and then wave 3 is like, hey, wait for me, I will push things higher. We also here have trading opportunities which can be identified and shown to you, unveiled by wave 1. So wave 3, sorry, because it can help traders position themselves to capitalize on the continuation of the trend. So let's talk about the start of wave 3 here. So you have your wave 1, your first little push up. Then you have wave 2, have a slightly lower high, or mind you, but then you have the third wave, this nice gust here, the motion in the ocean to the upside. Great look here. And then you have your wave 4 and wave 5 to show that continuation and impulse there. Now let's talk about identifying wave 3. This is going to be the powerhouse. It's not always perfect, but here are some key characteristics to help you spot wave 3. The length is really important. Typically, wave 3 is going to be the longest of the impulse waves, but length alone is not a definitive indicator. What you want to see is, I guess, a continuation of that trend after your first push and your mild pullback. Strength is also really important. You want to see that strong price movement. You want to see price movement that looks like it's lifting some weights there. You want to see also increased trading volume during wave 3 compared to the preceding wave. So you're going to be measuring strength based on the intensity of the volume and the intensity of the move itself. What about Fibonacci extensions? So we talked about this yesterday using different indicators with our waves. Wave 3 in theory can actually extend wave 1 by 1.618 times. That's going to be Fibonacci extension, but it's a guideline, not a strict rule. Shout out to Trader Tammy, the Fibonacci princess, who has been on the market recap with Sean and Neil and I at various moments. And she will talk a lot about how they're more kind of price guides than rules. They're areas that you can look for things. So I think that's really important.
Love it.
Here's wave 3. I love that you said in the wild. I feel very, very seen.
That was for you.
Yeah, it's in the wild and it's in the ocean, Sharif.
Hey.
You got your wave 1, your wave 2. Wave 1, wave 2. And then you know you're really surfing to the upside here because you have your nice wave 3 pushing even higher. Wave 4, a smaller corrective wave, and then you have your last impulse wave there. So thank you, Sharif, for putting these illustrations in the chat. I think it's a really a really clear example there. What about being beyond the basics, though? Overlapping waves. You know, waves can lap in the ocean, but they can also overlap. So sometimes wave 3 can overlap a little bit with the end of wave 1 or the beginning of wave 4, which I did not realize. I think that's pretty interesting. So don't be discouraged by minor overlaps and let the true trend shine through. Focus as well on the overall trend in the wave structure rather than the minutia of the different waves and the different things you're seeing. What about the corrective wave 4? How does that play a role with wave 3? Because it will immediately follow it, right? So a healthy wave 4 will typically retrace between 23.6% and 38.2% of wave 3. This retracement will provide a bit of support before the final push of wave 5. Here's a tip for trading with wave 3. For one, confirmation is going to be key here. So don't rush into trades based solely on wave 3. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the gap. Here's the gap. So you have your wave 1 here. Then you have your wave 2.
Can I say something about this?
Yes, please.
So this doesn't actually correspond to the one we were looking at before. The reason I put this one on there is because I wanted to say if there is a gap that initiates the beginning of wave 3 that breaks through the top, the crest of wave 1, that's extra bullish. That's another check mark right there. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant.
Because it's about support and resistance. Right?
Yeah.
Also, did you see that you literally overlapped with the chart?
I think she was doing that on purpose.
I know, I liked it.
I like it too. Shout out, Ram.
Ramina and David are killing it with the special effects.
They do.
They like to
They play
make
around
it a
with it a lot.
full experience. But yeah, audio-visual experience. But no, and this is interesting too because we talk a lot about support and resistance as well, right? So if you view this as maybe a resistance area, then we have our wave 2 pullback. If you have this gap above, it shows we can push higher. Also, please vote for tickers. Get in the chat, exclamation point, join, space, $. Maybe it's ARKK, which has been having a heck of a day.
Yeah.
Maybe it's PACB. Maybe it's TSLA. It doesn't have to only be Kathy names. No. But I guess she's in my mind. AAPL, if you want to hear about Sharif's awesome Apple trades. Hey. TSLA with that wild move to the downside. SPY, IWM. I'm just looking at my side charts now. Get involved, guys. Get in the chat and make your voice heard because we love voting and we love democracy.
Please and thank you. Yep.
Please and thank you. Yep. And you're welcome. What about tips, though, for trading with Wave 3? Confirmation is key. You never want to just rush into trades based on one indicator in general. As Sharif always says, don't put too much stock into one candle, but also don't put too much stock into one indicator because it takes all of these candles and indicators to comprise the stock. You want to make sure that you've got confirmation from these other indicators and a healthy retracement in Wave 4 for better risk management. Also, though, entry and exit strategies. You want to develop these entry and exit strategies based on your risk tolerance and your trading style. You could consider using stop loss orders as well to manage risks. Remember, though, the market does not always follow Elliott wave theory perfectly, but by understanding wave 3, you can find potentially significant trend extensions and make informed trading decisions. So here's a cool way, I like this, how to trade wave 3. So it gives you examples of when to buy. Again, these are just guidelines, right? Begin to buy at the 50% retracement of wave 2, and then add more to your position in the golden zone. Between 61.8%.
The Katina man, get him, Ram.
But yeah, between the 61.8% level and the 78.6% level. So basically adding in the golden fib levels, and they show us this as well. And then you want to place your stop loss potentially below the 78.6%, but give some extra area to avoid exiting too early. So I like this as kind of a guide. You can definitely take a screenshot there. If you want to take a photo to take a look. But thank you so much to Sharif for putting together these lessons.
Always.
Hopefully you guys learn a little bit better how to ride the wave. I said wetter, so I'm going to do the beak wet.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, I still have to get that. That's so good. Yeah, look at and look. Can you hit it again? There, the garbage has charts on it.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
I love it.
And I can tell he screenshotted my chart because I can see the little white ticker there that I put it on my side charts. Yeah, it's so sick. Fabian undefeated. I want to mention this to you guys. We didn't report on this on the day. Lucid up big today, 7% in the clear as a result of this headline. Lucid Group's gain after its CEO says the Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, I'm so funny, is the perfect partner.
Press the bag button.
She did, of course. All right. So basically, essentially here, what's happening with some of these EV companies that are running out of money, and when you're connected to the Saudi government, that usually is not a consideration. It could be a blessing. It could also be a curse because then you don't become as efficient as you possibly could be. And that has been some of the criticism about Lucid, is that they really do have an endless bucket of money off which they can dip into. So earlier in the week, though, they did report, Ram, that their production numbers did increase. They produced 2,100 cars, but they delivered about 2,400, which typically means they were getting rid of a glut in inventory. They didn't say anything about any price cuts, nor did I see any on their website. So assuming the margin is going to be the same. So good luck for Lucid on the day, 7% in the green. But yeah, over 7% now, 7 1/3 as I'm looking. It's zigging and zagging a little bit. So we'll see what we get there. I'm still looking at Apple, though. I was very close to punching in at 228 again. It's topping tail. I really don't have a read on any of these Mag 7s right now. They've been in this consolidative mode for a little while. Like, don't get me wrong, I mean, they're moving still, but I'm not getting them off the areas that I typically get them off, exponential moving averages, key areas of technical support and resistance. So I'm going to pack my patience here because I was just about to go along 228, and now it's well below that level. So if this stays the same way on AAPL, where we top out there at the $0.25, 228, $0.25, that will be another lower high. And then what I'll be looking for is is a possible flat bottom break through that 227.5. You can see it's been consolidating at this area here on the 5-minute since basically 10 to 1. And now it's about 123. So it's been a hot minute since we've been below that 227.5. If we get below there, I will be looking to go short on AAPL. Already an inverse hammer candle coming in. So thank goodness I didn't get along 228 despite the fact that it was curling up. I just need to be looking short all day, no matter what it looks like here. The best moves are to the ones to the downside. So gonna pack the patience over here. Shout out to Ricky Peters. Welcome to Trader TV, my man. Thank you for joining. Hope you can join Adara and I every day. We teach trading between 11 and 2. The big kahunas do the big boy trading. They start at 8:30 typically and then go to 11. Then they come back on from 2 to about 4, and then the Katina Man and Adara, or Neil and Adara, now both are on the market recap show there from 4 to 4:30. So we're basically on every day from 8:30 to 4:30. You can rely on us here on Trader TV. We'll always have you covered. I want to let you know as well that you can vote, and that is basically the afternoon segment that we have from 2 to 2:30 is you vote. You get basically call the shots about what we talk about every day. You can vote for your favorite tickers in the chat. Go ahead, use that prompt as you see there on your screen to have your say every day, and the big kahunas will cover the trade. All right, Apple really coming down here, and there goes the $0.50. I said I'd go short here, so why am I not short? 227.5 breaks, but there is some support that I can see coming in. A bit of a bid at the $0.25 there that I can see on the book, but it does not help whatsoever. Down we go into the $0.33 now. We breach that half by some distance. What looks like we're going to see a $0.25. The low of the day on Apple is 225 3/4. That is almost $2 south of where we are right now, which gives us a great possible retracement target to get into. But I want to jump and see. Maybe I can jump up on the pop-up here if it gives it to me. So I'm going to sit there at 47s for a possible pop-up to get a better price. But this thing does not want to go up, it looks like here. Yeah, I may not get this. It's dipping down. It looks like it's going to go into that whole dollar, 227s here. Great move down for the shorts on AAPL as the market weakness continues to, basically manifest. We're below 20,500 right now by a cool and gnarly 30 points or so, because we're almost 50 points below that level, and I will not get filled, it looks like here, on this pop-up to defend that $0.50 on the short, at least not yet. So I'm packing my patience here. I'd like to get in a short on Apple to take it down below the $0.50, Adara. What are you looking at?
Looking at NVIDIA, I'm happy with what I did with this. NVIDIA is in a very stubborn... Oh, sorry. My apologies there, put myself on mute to get some water. NVIDIA is in a bizarre, very stubborn 15-penny range, 128.55 to 128.70. I did short that range, took the 15 pennies that NVIDIA would give me. That is literally all it would give me. That being said, I still think this is a bit of a short potentially. Why do I say that? Well, okay, I know we've had these bottoming tail candles, fully aware of that, but we cannot get above this 70 area, and we're trying to push lower, I think, on the book, on the buy side. And as I say that, it looks like we might pop higher, but I just, when I realized we we're going to break 55s instead of Dara, beggars cannot be choosers. Your issue with the IWM trade earlier is you got way too greedy. So don't be greedy, don't be needy, just take the trades you see, yes indeedy. I will stop rhyming now. There you go here. What else is looking interesting? Someone in the chat, I believe it was Hey Davis, calling out the similarities between the Amazon and the Tesla chart in the 5-minute. I gotta say, I agree. Amazon. 8. Oh, there's been so many today. But look at, it's been a great day for pushbacks. But look at this Amazon. This looks rangy, but at the same time, I'm kind of seeing a bounce off the 90 MA. We definitely have a bottom at 194 where we can't find our way or Zos down any further. So I think this Amazon could be interesting. I think I would consider going long off this bounce and try to get some Profit Express delivered at this top at 195. But I am not the Amazonian. I am not, we know Obi knows those Amazon levels. I do not have as much confidence in my ability with Amazon. But look, I mean, Amazon and Tesla are so similar. So shout out definitely to Hey Davis for that. Tesla also trying to bounce off the 90 MA. This is one that I saw this potential bounce here off 247s, and I was like, you know, maybe it won't bounce before the lesson's over. Alas, it did bounce. It's all good, baby, baby. You got so many opportunities. That's part of the dream of being in this market. Things are juicy every single day. So yeah, it was kind of a biggie moment for puns there, I guess.
Patty loves the puns, man. Patty's a fan, baby.
That's a classic song, yeah. So anyways, this Tesla getting a nice 90 MA bounce. I'm okay with scalping this if we bounce off 248 as a long, but I won't be around for too long in this trade because that's not going to be my vibe. If we break below 248, I'll short it. I'm willing to play this in either direction. We got to wait and see what Tesla gives us. Happy it got out in that NVIDIA short when I did. Look, NVIDIA here trying now to pop into 129s. This has been a fun scalp play for NVIDIA, but you really do have to be here for a good time and not necessarily a long time.
All right, took 40 pennies quickly on Apple. I tried to short at the 2/3 of a dollar, got stopped out as it broke above 69, so risked 10 pennies and got stopped out, flipped long immediately. And when I flipped long, I was very pleased with that, so we took it at 69s, covered at 09, so happy with this trade. 2 outs there, and almost back in Greensville on Apple. I'm green on the day, but I'm not green on Apple, and you know, green Apple, yeah, I got it. But I knew you were coming with that, so I was like, might as well just say it.
I didn't even think of that.
No? How? Yeah. How is that possible?
Know.
No way. I think maybe because you took a little bit of a break today, Derek.
Yeah, it was like really hard to force my brain to not pun. You don't even know, guys.
All right, guys, so I'm looking here to see what we do with the whole dollar. What's going on over there?
Amazon,
AMZN, how much? The Katina man just got some out at 195 on AMZN. We know he's short, he's long in the low 194, so shout out to him. Great range today on AMZN between 195 and 194. At least that's the way it's been since 1120. So that's 2 hours ago right now since we broke down from this candle over here and made that local low of 193.84. It has been mostly 194 low, 195 high. I'm very surprised I didn't have eyes on this range because I would have been very interested in that range, Katina, man. So that is a good look there on the Zon. Obviously, we heard, you know, about Jeff Bezos selling, and as you can see on AMZN, at least the last 4 days, we have been locked into this 200 resistance at some time. I forget what Neil was calling it, the Bezos 200 level or something like that. But we did breach it today, although very momentarily, and that was on the CPI spike at 8:30. We did get into that 201.52, but it was quite short-lived, and you know how I feel about wicks as post-closing prints. So there you go. It did not last all that long. So we'll keep eyes on that. Let's flip to some of the small cap gappers, see what they're up to on the day. We haven't been showing them as much love today, certainly. LNTH and MEI are still absolute beasts, but look at Longeveron wake up all of a sudden, and I did not have eyes on this. I should have been much more alive to this, especially when Scott H let me know that it was breaking out above yesterday's closing print at around 455. And look what it did. It retraced right into VWAP, man. That is, I mean, you don't have to risk too much there. You put it in front of VWAP and you risk 5 or 10 pennies at the most because look how tight the range is. And now it's doing that rounded bottom, right? Look at that. It sequentially made higher lows and higher highs coming into that area top at 470. So this 470 has been an elusive target to break. And you could tell based on what it did to about 1150 or so, it was definitely tougher for the longs to get up there. I want to see if it holds above 455. Right now, it's zigging and zagging a little bit. If this one breaks above 470, we could get a nice squeeze into 5. So there could be something to be had here. LGVN, look, it's not up a lot. It's up 0.88, 0.66, whatever it is. But definitely on a lot of people's watch list owing to what it's done over the last couple of days. Today, taking a bit of a break. Very much an inside day based on yesterday's price action ensconced within the highs and the lows of yesterday. So we'll keep an eye on Longeveron, Adair.
Yeah, Tesla, I briefly had a long here. I'm going to get back into it, though, because I think the levels, right, we keep bouncing now off these 247.30s, but I got out because I guess the time wasn't right. It bounced a little bit. I was like, overjoyed, bouncing off the 90 MA, confluence, blah, 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 did not end up working out. I'm going to take this position a lot smaller than I took that first position because, you know, if I just got out of it and failed it on the same levels, I don't want to be taking it with the same vigor, right, the same aggression. We are, the same aggressla, we are struggling a little bit with this 240, like breaking out above this, but we keep bouncing off 247, so I don't, it's a long that I do want to try. Again, would love to see these higher highs, higher lows in the book. I am worried I may be rushing into this a little bit, but sometimes with Tesla, it does move at a speed that's pretty quick. So if you see something you like, you do have to act on it. Post-haste, you got to act on it pretty quickly.
Bang.
See how this TSLA goes, though. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing in the book, AKA these lower highs. But like Amazon, we're having a little bit of a bounce off the 90 MA, though I would say that Amazon look a lot cleaner, and maybe that's what I should be focusing on. But like I said, I feel like not a name I trade as much, not a name I'm as comfortable trading, which again, you might be like, you're not as comfortable trading Amazon, but you'll mess a lot with Tesla? Yeah, I guess, I don't know. You gotta do what you gotta do, but I like the speed at which Tesla moves. And right now, I would wish it would be a little bit faster to bounce, but that's fine. Maybe we're rejecting here, and so in this case, if we're having a rejection, if we're flipping from support to resistance on these levels, back below this 247 area, I'm gonna have to get out. Happy to go with less size because I didn't wanna have to make the same trade. I made that face, so I was like, with the same amount of size both times. And now, of course, we're coming into these levels. So good times there. You got to trust what you see. In that case, I did not have any trust in Tesla at that level. If it wants to keep rejecting this 247 40s, though, I have no qualms shorting it at that level. What I like this UV Degrade is saying, Dara's right, you have to go fast or you miss it. Be patient, though. And that's the exact key. It's so hard to find that beautiful combination of being confident and being aggressive while also packing the patience in your Samsonite bag. And that's what we're really trying to do, that secret sauce, that recipe. I don't think I was patient enough in Tesla. Now it looks like it might actually be trying to give me that bounce that I want, and I was maybe a little bit too aggressive with it. Have to say, I'm really happy, though. I've been hiding the P&L. I think that's been pretty good for me, just to have those opportunities to focus on the reps. NVIDIA, if you want to bounce here off that 90 MA, this level was pretty key earlier. We were really struggling with that 128.70s to break above. So if you want to hold that as support, resistance support flip-flops, my favorite kind of flip-flops to wear. So there we go. Make sure you vote for your tickers of choice, guys. Go in that chat, !, join space, $, whatever you're interested in.
All right, long Nexi looking for that 550 defend. NEXI 147% in the clear. A bit of a risque type trade because it's coming off two big boy red candles, but I do see this area support at 550, so I'm trying my hand with this area over here as it came back down. VWAP is a skosh above $5, generally at around 507, 510. My out is the break of the $0.50. We're not going to give this any room here. It's around for a good time, not a long time, as Zadira just mentioned. So first beak wetter just in front of 6. So we'll look to try to extract 50 pennies and risk 10 on this bad boy. It's showing me 70s up here. I'm waiting in the mid 80s. Going to pack my patience on this one. NEXI, I think this is a holdover from yesterday, is it not? Was it Nexi running here? So let's have a look. So let's put in the ticker for everybody. No, Nexi was not running. Nexi's new from today. So kind of getting all convoluted with my tickers over here. NEXI, let me give you the deets on this monster. $7.8 million market cap, almost 23 million shares traded today. Float, 1.1 million shares, so very small, not minuscule, but very small. NEXI, let's find out the short float. The NOS boss and his crew there at Trade Ideas, 1.44%. Nothing really to write home about in terms of a short float. 76 is showing up here. Let's go to the trading screen to see what the ask is saying. So the ask at 80s, 82. Let's see if we can move up here. I think I'm waiting at 88. The ask showing 84. Yeah, but there's a whole bunch of selling here. It looks like coming in at 80s. So yeah, we don't get printed there. So we'll have to pack our patience. Otherwise, we'll get stopped out. I don't care. I'm just going to let the trade manifest in whatever way it wants to manifest into. If we get triggered with the out, great. If we get triggered with a stop, whatever. So we'll keep an eye on that. But basing it off this area of technical support, that $0.50, that's where we topped out at 12.10 and again at 12.15. And it is also the 10 exponential on the 5. Not that I'm really basing this small gapper trade on the 10 exponential. Quite frankly, I'm just telling you guys the truth. It is more based upon these areas of support and resistance on NEXI. So we're in the money on it, but who knows for how long. The stop is on the south side of the $0.50. Gorev, AMD, trying to confirm a double bottom. Hourly candle shows double wicks, buyers, overwhelming sellers, question mark. Great question, Gorev. Let's have a look at our friend AMD. Advanced micro devices. Yes, I already see the double bottom that you are talking about. What was the level that you were saying? Well, I don't see it on the hourly. I got it on the 5, but certainly here there is a level of support at the $0.50, 177 $0.50, despite the fact that we did make it into that $0.25 at 11.50. The majority of the prints are holding up generally at 78, but when they wick down, they are wicking down generally also into that $0.50 area. I just have to digress for a second because I can see that NEXI is coming into that $0.50. So if this breaks, I have my stop, and there we go. We got stopped out. So 0 for 2 on NEXI. Tried to take this long twice. Both times I get wicked out on the stop, and it pops up right again. So I've clearly got my levels wrong on this name. If I'm going to trade it again to the long side, I have to give it a lot more room, which means I need to take smaller size. There it goes. Now I would have been printed. So that just tells me that the bamboozlement was real, was fast, and was furious on this name because, well, there it goes into the 90s. Very frustrating there, but that's trading. So should have had my stop a little bit below the $0.50, but I'll know that for next time here as we, I haven't really seen an XC trade before, but good move up. I'm still not letting this one off the hook, especially if it starts curling up above $6 and wants to weasel its way up into 705 HOD on NEXI. Oh, so frustrating. So look at this. I literally got wicked out at the bottom. I need to zoom in to see if this was literally the bottom, and it was literally the bottom. That is so sad. Yeah, it's okay. It happens. So would have had this good trade, but that's the way it is.
Can we commiserate? Because if you're frustrated, I will be frustrated with you. Sharif, I took this short here, 247.20 on Tesla because we weren't breaking higher. I was like, I'll get 247s. I don't know if we'll get the break. I get out, it immediately drops 60 pennies. Sharif.
Wow.
I'm happy with my 20 pennies. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to cry over stolen. Thank you. But it's just, I see what you mean about it. It's frustrating sometimes. It's hard, right? You got to do what you got to do. And then half the time the market's like, well, I wouldn't have done that. And I clearly didn't because I'm moving lower. But like, but that's the thing is the market is an inanimate object. That's why I characterize it like this. It is just, you're the only one who can take your trades for you.
Yes.
No one else can do that. And so you have to believe in yourself. You have to have the confidence, the Obi-Confidence, the kneelage, and you have to get worried. Not worried. You don't have to get worried. You have to get involved. Why was that a word that came out? Also, shout out to West, y'all saying Nexi always bamboozles him. Oh, yeah. So I guess he's familiar with the Nexi. Get Nex Immune, I think. I feel like I've heard of this one, but this Tesla, though, at this 246.66, 666 this year for Tesla, making a bit of a topping tail candle. Don't mind if I do. I will be taking this short the pop. I wanted to be very cognizant that it's not a revenge trade because I obviously did get out of that earlier short earlier. I said earlier too many times, but I'm still seeing lower highs in this. I am seeing this kind of curl down here. We're if we keep rejecting this 247, I'm okay with staying in this trade. The way that 247 broke down was just wild to witness. So We'll try. I think this definitely could be a little bit herky-jerky, but I took smaller size on it, being aware of the fact that, hey, we're going to have to wait and see. That's the thing with all trades. You really never know how they're going to go. All you can do is prepare yourself, be ready. Here's Randy. Randy is Tesla. Randy. Starring Randy as Tesla.
We love you, bro.
Shout out to Randy, killing it every single day. Shout out to our awesome team. Everybody here, everyone you see, everyone you don't see is a huge part of this community and this chat as well. I have to shout out Bears vs. Bulls for keeping everything together. Tesla really does not want the smoke above the 90 MA. So, I mean, Tesla, you don't want that smoke? Cool. Go nicotine free. Get that vape. Give me that short. I'll take that smoke. Thank you very much, Tesla. Shaking hands with the stock. That's what we do here. Again, kind of holding a support at the 246.60, which I don't like. I have a fun habit of going long at support and short at resistance for reasons. We'll have to figure, or sorry, long at resistance and short at support, which is something I definitely need to work on curbing. But right now, the only thing I'm trying to curb is losing my mind here in this TSLA. This 246.40 was a little bit of support earlier on the book that I saw, so if we can break below it. You know what? I can say it now, so I will say it. I am pleased as punch, Sharif. I would love to see us break below 20s, but if we can't, I'll take it out there. There we go. Okay, Tesla, come back to 25s. Come back down. There we go. We got it. 35 pennies on that Cybertruck. Pleased as punch. What a good time. Ricky Peters saying Randy's the man. Mandy. I love that. Also, shout out John Szymanski saying everybody trades different. I think that's really important. I think that's one thing as well that Sean always emphasizes. Like, everyone you see in these desks will always have a bit of a different style. And I think it's I think it's really important to know that no two traders are alike, much like snowflakes. That was a really sad face.
I know, I fat fingered again. I was long at 613 and I took out everything again at 25s and there it goes into $0.50. That's twice today I fat fingered. I've tried to change my position into a beak wetter. Rather I get out the entire thing. I'm still looking to defend 6, but I doubt it'll come down into that on NEXI. Sorry guys to interrupt, but I was just really frustrated with that. Looking to defend 6 here as we got cut up a bunch of times. Had 569s, it moves up into 550s or 650. So frustrating when you don't get it right. But you know, sometimes when you trade these large cappers, they don't move in the same bamboozling way as some of these small caps. So yeah, you forget exactly how bamboozling they can be and how much room you need to give them and what to expect in terms of price action. So I didn't trade this one as well as I should. Am I negative on it still? I think I am still negative on it. Yes, still negative on the name, positive on the day, but looking to avenge this trade. Was able to take nice 30 pennies on it super quick, but I would have had a lot more if we had held this. Anyway, NEXI, Ike Anderson, NEXI, VFS, WVE, LCFY. This is not financial advice, he says. You're just giving tickers, man. You're good. We're not going to hold that against you.
Trenda Ticka likes the tickers.
It does, yeah.
She and Sharif, I guess, are not besties right now because I was like, oh, I'm worried about the punch challenge. Sharif's like, oh, don't worry, you could squeeze test Trenda users like
No, that's not what I said. I said, do you need a stress toy?
That's what you said.
Right? I'm like, oh. Randy just robbed Trenda. He just took it over. All right, well, we're good with that. I'm good with that. I don't know about Ram. Ram may be inconsolable at the moment. So I said to Adara, I'm like, yeah, you could just get a squeeze toy, and every time you want to pun, you can just, squeeze it. I'm like, here, use Trenda. I'm like, kill Trenda. I don't care. You got my authorization.
Yeah.
And then I got the hand
the bird.
from the bird from Ram. Letting me know exactly how she feels about that. Shout out to Ram. Doing the absolute most in a good way. What are you looking at, Adara?
I'm short Tesla. I was not confident enough in this. I wanted that 246 short. We kept kind of waffling above it. Alas, I am actually still interested in getting involved. I haven't canceled my order, but as we break way lower, I'm going to have to. We're not going to get what I wanted here. You can't always get what you want, but that Tesla, these Tesla rejections, I really should have been shorting every single pop here. But you know what I am looking at is you guys also have 5 more minutes to vote. Get in that chat. Maybe you want to look at Tesla. Maybe you want to look at AMD. Maybe you want to look at NYSE. Maybe NYSE is the NYSE thing you want to see. NYSE next up. Maybe you want to see Apple. Maybe you want to see Microsoft. I'll stop naming tickers. Get involved in there. Exclamation point. Join space, $, whatever tickers you fancy. So, this AMD is what I'm looking at right now, Sharif.
Okay.
I know Susanna Pena in the chat was looking at AMD. quite a few people looking at AMD. I know Gaurav was looking at AMD. I think that double bottom at 178 is gorgeous. However, the bear in me, is like, look at these topping tail candles before a quadunk. We get that here earlier. Higher highs. We still have higher highs, but topping tail candles and a quadunk. With that being said, the trend right now, and I know the trend is your friend, but right now this trend is we get a higher high, and then we have 2 topping tail candles and a baby quadunk. So if we want to have that baby quadunk, I will babysit that baby quadunk. I will take that baby quadunk to the downside. I'm going to stop saying that phrase now because I'm sure it's pretty extra. But also the fact that we have this baby quadunk, one more time, at this previous level of support is actually huge to me. I will call it confluence. And you know what? I'm not going to risk too much here. I'm going to get involved at 09s. Oh boy, I don't think I'm going to get this thing, but Sharif is so good at like verbal imitations, impersonations. But yeah, so this AMD, we got to 179 and we bounced kind of viciously, which is actually how we got in the trade. So I don't love that 179 bounce. I like that we're below the 90 MA. I'm only going to be really risking this into like 30s. It's really going to be if I see anything distinctly different or something I don't like on the book, that's what will be keeping me in or getting me out. I would love to see us break decisively below 179 because the 179 bounce is going to be in the no-fly zone for me in this short. Speaking of no-fly zone, how's Delta? Which is still Adara, not in the NQ. Delta here. Oh! It's not a pushback, but yeah, we did not bounce here at this level. That 44.20 I was talking about earlier, that would have been the level for me. 44.20, I guess, accidental pun. But look at this, we did not have all the smoke there at that 44.20. Instead of having another bounce or rejection, we just kind of gapped a little bit lower. Okay, so AMD broke below 179 and then came right back up. I might not be getting what I want here, but we're still below my area, so I'm gonna have to keep my eye on that AMD. Delta though, below the 90 MA, looks like a nice short the pop top 90 MA type look, not advice, just my take on the chart. I would like to see what we do with that 43.90, sorry, because that was a bit of an area of support earlier. AMD, why did you bounce off 179? Asking for a friend. How are you doing?
The market is at lows right now, guys. We are down almost 600 points on the NQ September contract. This is the high of the day, 20,983. We just touched 20,403. There would be days where we wouldn't move 50 or 100 points. Now we're moving 600 points in a day. Wow, that's a big move down. And as the market made new lows, so did the Mag 7. You got the new low on Amazon. You got the new low on Meta. You got the new low on goggles. You didn't get it necessarily on NVIDIA, even though it did dip into area lows at 127.90. Tesla, obviously, needn't say it's weak. It did get a bit of a bounce, though, off that 244, now above 245. This thing's moving dollars at a time. You got the low of day, not so much on Microsoft, even though it did come into 453. I'm keeping an eye on 227 on the dead one Apple, because right now it did dip below 227 when the future put in that low, but now it's above 227, and I'm seeing a hammer candle form on NVIDIA. You're not seeing it on Apple. But what I can do is I can get in long here and put in a low below, or a stop, I should say, below the low of the candle that we're currently on. It's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to go 226.79, 226, and we'll go 75 to cover. We're long sixes, so call me crazy, but we're going to, yeah, I know, I am. We'll look to get, we'll look to wet our beak maybe on some profits here. We'll sit just below 20s to see if we can get a fill on this possible hammer candle. I mean, I know it's completely not inverse, but counter trend trade. We'll see if we can wet our beak on some profits on this one. Been trading Apple a lot today, both north side and the south side on this day anyway, because it's just giving you so many opportunities. I just got 14s there. It didn't print. I was sitting at 15s for the look. We'll see if it can weasel its way back up. But yeah, keeping my eye here. Oh, I'm probably going to get out of this trade because the future's right back down again. And if that's the case, I don't really want any smoke with Apple. Funny enough, I just got an Apple email. Isn't that funny?
Actually?
Yeah, Apple developer email. I know, right? So yeah, the future just dropped down again. So I don't know if I want this trade. The future's going to have to go in the direction with Apple, or otherwise I don't want it. Yeah, I'm getting out of it here. So we'll get out break even on this trade. I don't like it. And thank God I did. Just dropped 15 pennies as quickly as I said that. So yeah, I don't like this because we're on our way down here on the future. Doesn't look like we're finding any support right now. So I'm going to pack my patience on any longs. But guys, everything really is very, very negative here in Mag 7 world and chip world, that is. There has been rotation into other areas. EVs are strong. The Chinese ADRs are all strong. Well, not all. Most of them are strong. Crypto is strong. Let's bring in the watch list. I'll show you guys exactly what I'm looking at. So start up here. The memes, all Ds. We talked about VinFast doing its thing. Up 20%. EVs are all strong. As I mentioned, Chinese ADR is really, for the exception of a couple here, they're all in Greensville. Crypto, the same thing. Coinbase got a double downgrade today, likely why it's red, but everything else in Greensville. Even Mara up 1%. FinTech, not all, but a lot of it in green as well as a result of the projected interest rate cuts. Weed, all green. Marijuana, nary a red name in Marijuanaville. Even biotech doing D's today. Pfizer, Moderna up nicely. You'll also see strength in Solaire stocks. These Solaire stocks are very, I would submit to you, interest rate dependent. Startup costs are prohibitive and they don't want to use their own money, so you got to use borrowed money. If you're using borrowed money, your cost of capital is a little bit higher at the moment. You got to wait till that comes down. And so that's why I think this is up. QuantumScape obviously has its own catalyst on the day. So we'll keep tabs on that. Keeping a tabs on Apple as it zigs and zags here, Dara. A little bit above 227, a little bit below. Unsure what to make of this move over here as yeah, we have about a few minutes left on the show. Anything you want to cover before we...
Is Solaire the distant cousin of Uber? Because I heard you say Solaire.
Hold on, let me get to this.
Yes.
Big Kyle Burdett, $5 super chat. Ponzi might have all the points, But I got all the smoke all over the place today. Thanks, Sharif, for enduring my Instagrams and checking in with me today. Absolutely, brother, because I knew today was your type of day, so I didn't see you in the chat. I'm like, Big Kyle is missing out on a day that he's likely to print big on. So as soon as I saw that, I wanted to message you. I'm not taking any credit. You're the ones with the trades, Big Kyle. Shout out to you.
Shout out to everyone in this chat. Shout out again to Terra Engineering with that pun challenge. That pun challenge really taught me how important it is to be true to yourself when you are trading, because, like I said, I feel like I think I was brought back to life once I was able to pun again. I'm not gonna lie. I think it really shows you that when you're spending all this energy trying to be something else. I think this is not just true in trading. I think it's true in life. If you're not being true to yourself, then you spend all this energy, trying to be something else, and it kind of manifests in my case, some questionable trades. So that's my take on that. Thank you, I appreciate that. Also, AMD, why am I short a 9 EMA bounce? I'll tell you. It's because we have these topping tail candles. I've been every direction in AMD to the point where you might be like, Adara, just leave it alone. Well, I didn't want to leave it alone because basically I got out there. What I was seeing was a kind of interesting interplay. So initially tried the short, got out of the short, exactly where I wanted to, so I was okay with that. Then I flipped long because I was like, you know what? I do like that we're potentially bouncing here. Got out of the long basically flat, saw stuff I wasn't liking anymore. But then I flipped to my final short because I wanted to take it into the 9 EMA. Really happy with what I did here. We're gonna look at the P&L now because it's the end of the day. Okay, so I was able to make back some stuff here, I think, for sure, after some earlier weakness. AMD, my worst name of the day. It's not even a question. Tesla slightly down on here, slightly down on IWIM. I forgot I traded Intel. And I think I traded off the show. And then JD, but positive there in NVIDIA. So it's like, if I have levels in NVIDIA I like, I should have been sticking with that. That's my lesson from that. That's what I've learned. NVIDIA, if you want to do a 128 breakdown when I'm on the show, I would love all that smoke. We're going to try to get involved. I don't want to chase this. We're going to try to get involved here at 99s because we're already breaking lower. I'm going to take this with a little bit more size. We're going to be watching out what we do at 16s because that's the nice thing, too, about breakdowns and stocks you've already been watching. I know where we have any potential resistance or support flips. For me, that level on NVDA is going to be, without a doubt, that 21.28.16. So that's what I'm watching for. I would love to have all the smoke here at this one final trade on the How to Trade show. NVIDIA does not want to give me 99, so that's a little bit frustrating. Let's see here if we're able to push into this. I think the highest we're going to go is 94s from what I'm seeing in the book. So let's try 95s, and we're going to be 94s. We're going to be taking 20s. I don't want to be chasing, but I think sometimes there's a difference, too, between frugality. Like, you want to be a little bit frugal as well, right? You don't want to be too frugal. You want to make sure you're having that balance where you're able to get into the trade you want still. And look, we just got right into that 128 and rejected beautifully. Sorry, guys, I apologize for the vague incoherence trying to get involved in this trade. As Sharif said earlier, and something I really agree with, sometimes it's hard to be in the moment in the trades and articulate yourself super well. So we always love when we have people asking questions after, why was that the move? Why were you looking at that? What did you see there? And it's great, too, to be able to reflect on the trades in the moment. It's like a live trading journal. Can't believe there's only 4 minutes left, Sharif. What a day.
Unbelievable. Yeah. What a day it was. Obviously, if you're holding any of these Mag 7 names in the long-term account like myself, you're like, hey, not a great day. But to be honest with you, when you reflect on it, you need a healthy pullback. Otherwise, things getting a little too extended. So yeah, 2% pullback on the general market, a little bit more on some of these Mag 7 names, I think is quite healthy. And it's also good that there's more rotation. So we have breadth now, whereas, it was just microchips and the Mag 7 that were really moving everything. Now we've got some rotation, some other, less played names. And I'm okay with that because I like trading different names. So we'll keep an eye on that. By the way, we didn't look at this watch list over here, Ram. So I just want to show everybody. Energy up today. Looks like Oxy having itself a day as well. Energy all green, airlines all red, likely as a result of Delta and some of the things that they forecasted there. Banks mostly green except for Citi. Did Citi report yet?
Citi reports tomorrow with all its pals.
Yeah, and it's down 2% today, which is interesting because JP Morgan's flat. Consumer defensive, we saw here Costco taking a bit of a hit, down 4% as well. Walmart also taking it on the chin, 1.4%. Nat Gas, not strong either. Uranium, though, and this one, I keep looking at CCJ, Cameo Corp, Canadian company, obviously involved in uranium. And that has been on a lot of people's radar as of late as a result of these data centers that are super energy hungry. And now we don't have enough power to power them up. So what are we going to do? likely nuclear, at least that's from what I'm reading. Maybe some small modular reactors, something like that. So keep that maybe on your watch list, or a uranium little section there on your watch list. At least I do. Personally. Yeah, great day today. We'll be finishing off tomorrow, Elliot wave theory, so get a lesson for that, and then hopefully we'll have maybe we'll do gaps or something next week.
That'll be fun.
We'll see.
Yeah, go to the Gap, see what's at the mall there, go shopping.
I haven't been shopping at the Gap in a hot minute, but anyway, Dara, I'm gonna go make my way to the green screen, kill it.
Thank you so much, Sharif, for putting together the list. We're gonna wave goodbye to Sharif. We're gonna Elliot wave him goodbye. Seriously, thank you, Sharif, for all you do. I want to shout out again his awesome Tesla scalp short there. I am really happy here as we get to the end of the day. I already took some profit on my NVIDIA short here at the, where was this? We got out a part at 80s. We got the rest out here at that 60s breakdown. Man, this scalping feels good. This is the type of stuff I need to do more of. I think sometimes you learn a lot more from your losing trades than you do from your winners. And so I'm happy with these NVIDIA. Not all of these were positive, mind you, but I think really what I've learned is be patient. Don't get involved in things. Have size you want from the get-go. This IWM trade, which is one of, not my biggest loser of the day, but the most disappointing trade of the day. What got me with this one is I added because I got greedy because I didn't have enough in the first place. So it's like, make sure you're prepared. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I think learning from losers is really important. There are a lot of people asking about, is this a healthy pullback? What's going on with the market? I mean, we haven't had a more than 2% pullback in the NASDAQ, I believe, in a while. So this might be good. The markets need breath, but they also need to breathe. So I think that could be a good look. We're gonna have to wait and see what we do tomorrow. And I think even, the fact we got this on a day with good data shows maybe that this isn't really about the data. Maybe it's just the market. I think it's time to catch its breath, especially these semis. We had positive catalysts on AMD. We had everything up yesterday with that TSM news. So maybe the market needs to take its time, take a deep breath, and ready to keep going to the upside. Potentially, we'll have to wait and see what we get there. Tesla in a bear flag, says Jay Haas. I totally agree. But right now, we're going to have to say goodbye to you all for now. Elliot, wave you all away to the next stream. Hope you guys had fun. We sure did over here on this How to Trade show. We'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Sharif at the...
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, guys, the show where you decide what we talk about every day.